sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is a very Monday type of Monday. I don't know if you're feeling that. You're out there working anyway. You're pushing through it. I'm sure that you tuned into the Annie Fry Show thinking, you know what I'd like is just a normal Monday. Well, you're not going to get that because Annie's sick, and we're going to walk you through the news of the day. We got some goofy stuff. We also have some very serious stuff, the big stuff that will have impact your life. We're going to talk about that throughout the day, too. Mike Gonzalez coming up next to talk about, well, indirectly, gas prices, but he's going to talk about the Strait of Hormuz and some of the things that the Trump administration is doing right now to get that thing open as fast as possible, and we're all hoping that hey, look, if you're a Republican or Democrat, you got to be hoping that works, right? And then Madison Scarpino, did I get that right, Brad?
Yes, sir.
Scarpino, Fox News national correspondent, will be with us to talk about Spirit Airlines and the debacle that has been. Even if you don't fly a lot, that has been an absolute mess. And I've got a ton of information on it. Mark Cox talked about it a little bit this morning, too, so I won't belabor it. But I will bring you this quick, I said we got a little goofy stuff today. I'll bring you this quick Babylon Bee article about Spirit Airlines. Emotional passengers board final Spirit Airlines flight for one last all-out brawl. In a touching tribute to one of America's most formative chapters in air travel, dozens of emotional passengers gathered at the gate to board the final scheduled flight of Spirit Airlines, preparing themselves for one last glorious, no-holds-barred mid-air brawl. Witnesses described a reverent atmosphere at the terminal as longtime customers embraced, wiped away tears, and quietly slipped brass knuckles on before boarding. I don't know if you've ever flown Spirit Airlines. Of course, the news being that
I have not.
They have completely folded as of Saturday afternoon. Even scheduled flights, it was just like, you're done.
Yeah,
if you're in the airport, it's over.
Yeah, we don't exist
right now.
anymore.
And I have flown Spirit one time to Florida, and I'll tell you, it was not a good experience. As much as people talk about the crazy passengers, and it's because it's a low-cost airline. So you have a lot of people who don't have money, who I guess who are getting on there who don't normally fly, and they're not doing the normal protocols. And so you just have unruly people because it's such a cheap airline. Well, my experience was not that. It was that I got COVID from flying on Spirit Airlines.
Oh, no.
I know that it was, too, because I was coming home from a vacation in Florida, and this is probably 2022, and felt fine. Got on that plane, and by the end of the flight, I'm like, I've got something for sure by the end of the flight. The other thing, though, is that the plane was new enough that it was actually kind of nice. Like, all the seats were new. Everything felt kind of new. And so I wanted to give them a good review. Couldn't do it.
Well, it's not really their fault you got sick, though, is it?
I don't know. It probably not, but...
I mean, there's only so much they can do when you're on a, flying cylinder full of people.
It's just funny that I got it on Spirit Airlines. The only time I know for sure that I boarded an airline.
Definitely this airline.
And by the end of the 2 hours, I'm like, I'm sick. What did I do? Nothing. Yeah. I got it from being on this airline. But anyway, Spirit Airlines, we're going to talk about with Madison Scarpino at 1 o'clock and all the crazy steps that could have stopped that airline from going under. Again, even if you don't fly a lot, a major U.S. airline folding when they didn't have to is the story. And you can go back as far as 2022, and there are lots of sound clips. We're not going to go through all of them right now of Transportation Secretary at the time, Pete Buttigieg, talking about how he did not want Spirit to merge with other airlines because, well, that'll provide less options for people. Well, you know what provides even less options for people? When the airline disappears, which is exactly what happened. Just took a couple years to get there. So anyway, that's one of the top news stories of the day. We got a whole bunch of random stuff to go through, too, and some texts and tweets. If you want to text into the show, 314-241-9797. Of course, we are live online as well. We're our YouTube live chat poll. The big question of the day, I was texting with Brad yesterday. We find out Annie's a little sick, so hopefully she'll be back tomorrow. It's no big deal. Just maybe a one-day thing. We'll see. We hope for the best anyway. But
we make no predictions.
We make no predictions, but my hope is that it's just a quick cold and she'll be back tomorrow. We don't know. But I was texting with Brad yesterday and we were finding out, okay, Annie's going to be sick. And I said, how about if we do a poll about the Democrat Party? And so the question today is, who is the leader of the Democrat Party? And your options are Harris, as in Kamala, Gavin Newsom, Barack Obama, or someone else. And my only caveat, the Trump cabinet, is if you vote for someone else, tell us who that is, because I don't want you to just say, oh, yeah, it's not those people, it's somebody else. Well, tell us who you think it is, because that's the point of the poll, is that I don't know the answer to this question. Who is leading the Democrat Party right now? As you know, I look at polls a lot, and it's a weird poll world that we're living in, because right now, Democrats are clearly leading in the polls going into the midterms. However, if you ask people straight up which party they like better, it's almost even and maybe even leans Republican. So I don't really know, as you watch this stuff, what the Democrats actually stand for right now. I would have made that the poll, except that I don't know what the answers to the poll would have been because I don't know the answer to the question. But I'm asking you that to weigh in again on the text line and in the live chat. What do Democrats stand for as a secondary question to who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Now, Brad, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here a little bit.
Yeah.
But if somebody came to you and genuinely was just wanted to have a conversation and asked you, what does the Republican Party stand for? Off the top of your head, what would you be able to say?
Yeah, I think I would start with they stand for defending the little person, for freedom of speech, stuff like that. But then I would go into a little bit deeper stuff, a little more business oriented. They believe that increasing business increases employment, and a rising tide floats all boats. That's how you help the economy. I would say they believe in a strong national defense, a strong foreign policy. They also believe in closed borders, good checks at the borders, immigration with background checks, that sort of thing.
You've done way better at this than I was expecting you to just pop off, because I didn't ask you this ahead of time. And it's something that we don't necessarily, in talking about the news, we don't always take a step back and say, broadly speaking, here are the things we tend to stand for. It's almost like it's implied in the way that we're reporting things. But I would do the same thing. I would actually start with business and say they are for small business. Mm-hmm. They are for lower taxes on everybody and smaller government, and then private ownership and capitalism and things like that. You mentioned things that I should also be thinking about, which is a strong border, national security, a tough on crime. Yep. These are, and probably 2A, Second Amendment stuff, things like that. I would say those are probably the big issues that you could hang your hat on and say, yeah, that's typically conservative. I just don't know. And there are lots of lefties that listen to us. I'm asking you guys today, and even if you're not, you can answer this question. What do Democrats stand for? Because I don't know the answer, and oddly, it seems that neither does America. And that's kind of my big point here, is that when I look at the polling, if you take Trump out of the equation, you really have an almost even, if not tilt, Republican environment. But people are going to vote based on the way Donald Trump makes them feel, and therefore he's such a huge personality that if he's driving resistance turnout, then Democrats are going to have a huge advantage in the midterms. Just on that. I don't like Trump. I'm going to show up and vote. Turnout will be key. Will the support of Trump be enough to offset that for Democrats in the midterms? I don't know, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm taking a step back from just remove Trump from it. Democrats, you've had all this time to now coalesce, regroup, realize that you got smashed in 2024, and you go, okay, let's lick our wounds and come back and re-message what we stand for. They haven't done that. They haven't done that at all. Because if I can't tell you easily from working in news what a full party of the United States stands for, and look, obviously I lean right, so I'm a little biased. That's why I'm asking the question. If you're like, oh, Ryan, there's a huge thing you're missing here, well, let us know. That's fine. Yeah. I'm open to that.
I've got one here if you want to look at it.
Please do.
Okay, so this is from one of our listeners, and I know from on the chat that this listener leans left. It says, right now, Rule of law is everything. Accountability on a runaway administration that doesn't care about the issues that face everyday Americans, not a stupid ballroom, arches, or political lawfare.
Thank you for bringing that up, because my next point is, can you make the case, because Brad, you just did it, for what Republicans stand for without talking about the opposition party? I don't think that you can. Republicans can do it very easily. Democrats, I don't think that you can easily talk about what Democrats stand for outside of the Trump administration. We're resisting, we're no kings, and these kind of things. Even if you don't want to boil it down to that,
right?
You're saying exactly what my point is, which is, well, it's the ballroom and the political lawfare and stuff like that. But you don't like that. That's fine. That's a completely fine point to make. But can you, thought experiment, say what you do support that's not just anti-Trump? And that can apply way beyond the current moment. That's why it's so important.
Yeah.
Is because if you don't really know what you stand for beyond one politician, whether that be on your side or the opposition side,
for sure,
then you're just going to kind of float around and respond to everything. That's been what we've been saying the whole 10 years of the Trump regime, whatever you want to call it, the Trump years, if you want to call it that way. Since 2015 and 16, it just seems to us that the only thing Democrats do is just knee-jerk react to whatever Trump does. And so I'm just asking you today, from between now and 3 o'clock, answer this question. What does the Democrat Party stand for? Big picture. And make your pitch.
Cast
Not just
the vision.
to me. Cast the vision. This is what we're going to run on in 2026. This is what America needs to know. Is it, we just want universal health care? Well, I disagree with that, but at least that would be a policy.
That's a solid policy.
That's something. I don't see literally jack squat of anything that you guys support right now. And that's the big point I'm making. And again, the big question that we're asking, which is related to the YouTube live chat poll, which is, who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Maybe that will help lead us in the right direction. Harris, Newsom, Obama, or somebody else. We are going to take a short break here and come back and talk about the big news of the day. Although, oddly, I heard Kilmeade talking about the subject we were just on, and then I heard quite a few other people. Jon Stewart was hitting it this weekend. What does the Democrat Party stand for? Didn't even know that until we got here today and I started hearing the clips. So I guess we're kind of on the pulse of things. Talk to Mike Gonzalez next about foreign affairs that affect domestic gas prices. That's next on the Andy Fry Show.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. It'll be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Homeowners, a lot of you are worried about one thing when it comes to selling. That's leaving money on the table. Hey, it's Mark Cox, and I'm with Gloria Lou, your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria, how do you help sellers make sure they're getting top dollar?
The reality is, most homes don't sell for what they should. I see it happen all the time. They either price it wrong or they don't create enough demand. But with over 2,400 buyers in my buyers in waiting database and my exclusive pricing strategy, I'm able to offer my seller a 100% market value guarantee. And if I can't get you 100% of your home's market value, I'll pay you the difference. So you don't have to wonder if you left money on the table. You can sell with confidence, knowing you maximize your sale.
Make sure you get every dollar for your home. Call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Lou today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
Good job. An architect who's really talented, has done a lot of work for him. He's got a flair, a beautiful Hispanic flair in particular. And he comes from originally a place called Cuba, which we will be taking over almost immediately. No, Cuba's got problems. We'll finish one first. I like to finish a job. On the way back from Iran, we'll have one of our big, maybe the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, the biggest in the world. We'll have that come in, stop about 100 yards offshore, and they'll say, "Thank you very much, we give up." Good job. An architect who's really talented, has done a lot of work.
All right, Mike Gonzalez is on the phone with us, National Security and Foreign Policy Senior Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Mike, how serious are these comments from Trump about taking over Cuba?
Hey, Ryan, how are you? Also, by the way, just like that architect, born in Cuba but left a very long time ago, over half a century ago.
Oh, that's great.
I think he was joking, to be honest. I do think that he is going to try to do something for the Cuban people and to actually for the American people, because Cuba presents an ever-present danger to the U.S. It's a very belligerent state that supports terrorists and supports destabilizing our streets. So I think President Trump will do something, but I think in that particular instance, all those things he was saying, he was just joking. You can tell when the president is joking. I think this was one of them.
Yeah, Mike, it seemed to me like from listening to his comments, which made headlines, and of course, unless you hear the clip, you just read the headline, you go, oh, is he actually going to take over Cuba? No, when you hear it, you're like, oh, it's in the context of him kind of riffing. But it did sound like he was saying, we're not really going to do anything until we figure out Iran here, right?
Right. He's going to finish Iran first. Listen, Ryan, everyone sent that to me. I was in Mass Saturday evening. I went to the evening Mass, and I was getting out. I was getting calls from one of my sons who's in New York, and he was like, "Dad, what's Trump doing about Cuba?" And I said, because I had seen it earlier, I said, "Yeah, everyone is sending me this. He was joking. Listen to the speech." So yeah, no, he's going to finish Iran first, and he should.
Okay, so let's talk about Iran then. What's the latest in the country? Let's talk about the Strait of Hormuz eventually, but just give us a broad picture of where the Iran war stands.
Well, I mean, I think that I wouldn't be surprised if we go back there and begin bombing them again. Look, Iran cannot control the Strait of Hormuz. Imagine this. Imagine that Morocco and Spain said that any ship passing through the Straits of Gibraltar into the Mediterranean or out of the Mediterranean had to pay Spain and or Morocco a fee. Nobody would stand for that. That's an international waterway. The same thing with the Straits of Hormuz. It's an international waterway. Iran is desperate. This is its way of blackmailing the rest of the world. It's not going to work. I think Trump has the means to really blast them. He's tried to have the peace talks, but Iran is not serious about the peace talks. It has demonstrated that.
Is this the only tool they have, is trying to intimidate people to not use the strait by by threatening violence? Do they have any other way of pushing back on what's happening?
No, they really are on the ropes. Their Navy is in tatters. They're not even communicating with each other. You know, which Iran is talking. It looks like it's the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is really the most violent, the most vicious of all the groups in Iran. They seem to have risen to the top, but they're not communicating with each other. They're disjointed. I don't think they can win this with us. We may have to go back in and bomb them again. And I think the economic sanctions will also apply a vice. They will not be able to pay their army. They will not be able to pay anything. I don't see how this can go on many more weeks.
Yeah, it seems like Trump has pretty much two options here. One is to, I don't know, in a way capitulate and say, well, we're done. We're going to leave, or we're going to at least turn it back over to some sort of Iranian control, because everybody wants these gas prices to go back down. I mean, I'm among them. I don't want to pay $5 gas or whatever it's going to become. But the other is that he sticks with it, and then we have to, sort of suffer the consequence at the pump at least. But the way that I've been reading that he is dealing with both of those issues at the same time, because Trump's not one to back out. But he seems to be pushing this Operation Freedom, Project Freedom, where he's going to start escorting boats that are taking oil through the strait. Is that right?
Yeah, that's he announced that yesterday. I agree with you, Ryan. I don't see Trump not finishing the job. Bill McGurn in the Wall Street Journal 2 weeks ago wrote he has to remember Lombardi. Winning is not the best thing. Winning is the only thing. Mm-hmm. And he's in it too far now. He cannot just declare victory and go home. He really has to win. And I think victory is within his grasp. I think these prices are a short-term pain for long-term gain. I am a man of the world. I understand that we have elections later this year. I think Americans, by and large, make up their minds in late August, early September. By that time, kind of the vote kind of commence in. I think we're a long way off from August. It's getting shorter every day, but it's a good 3-4 months before. So I think that the sooner we postpone the reckoning that is coming, the worse it will be politically.
So tell me a little bit about Project Freedom while we have a few minutes here before we run out of time with you. How does this work, and why have we done it sooner if it can work? If we're going to have boats and aircraft that are accompanying oil tankers moving through that strait, is that the way to overcome this thing?
I think that's a short-term solution. I don't think we can be the cops, and that we accompany every boat in the Straits of Hormuz forever. That's just not going to work out. I mean, we need our boats for other things. The world is a dangerous place. We need our boats in the Pacific Theater. We need our boats in the Caribbean. We cannot be bottled up there in the Straits of Hormuz forever. I think this is a good short-term thing that we're doing, accompanying that way. That means the Iranians know, the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, know they cannot sink a ship that we're accompanying, because that will be the end of them. But do we want to do that forever? No, I don't think so.
So Mike Gonzalez, National Security and Foreign Policy Senior Fellow at Heritage Foundation. Last question for you. If this is a short-term solution, which I really hope, I think anybody paying for gas right now is like, yeah, let's do something. If this is a short-term solution, the only reason that I keep asking this question is because I don't really know why, and maybe you do. Why haven't we done this yet?
Well, I think that they thought they were going to have this sewn up earlier. To be honest, Iran has look. They have. The Iranians have no means of communicating. Nobody knows what they're thinking. Nobody knows what the Iranian people are being told. I think Trump has gotten progressively more serious about this. He really did try to have negotiations with him. He thought he could go that route. Trump, one thing, if you've been watching him for decades, he doesn't like war. He doesn't like having to do this. And to be honest, this is all the more admirable that he's decided not to kick the can down the road with Iran anymore, because he's not a warmonger. So he didn't want to do this, but I think he has no other choice but to finish the job.
Yeah, he's certainly given us enough proof in his first term, especially, that he's not a war guy. He doesn't solve everything through the military complex. He likes to be a diplomat and solve it economically if he can. So, yeah, Mike, I really appreciate your time today. Don't be a stranger. Thanks for your expertise.
Anytime, Ryan. I haven't been to St. Louis. I really want to go. I really want to see the Cards play. So anytime you invite me, I will. That's a ballpark I've never been to.
Hey, let's get our people together. And I know you join Reardon sometime, and we'll get everybody together and go to a Cardinal game.
Oh, that'd be great, man. Thanks
While they're good, because they're playing really well right now. I don't know if you noticed.
They are.
Yeah.
I know. All right, man.
All right, thanks Mike.
Bye.
Appreciate your time. Hey, this is an interesting topic, and I know that we'll talk about this more today. But one of the things that he hit right at the end there, I always like to hear the little stories behind the stories. And one of them that I've heard recently about these negotiations with Iran, they're taking place in Pakistan, is that they're negotiating with people and that the people are different every time.
Yeah.
And they don't know who they can trust because it seems like there are different factions. Of course, that's what's going to happen in a situation like this. There's going to be different factions.
Right.
But that some of them are much more willing to work and other ones are much more unwilling to work and you can't trust them as much. But they don't even know who's who, and they don't know among themselves who's in charge. So it's a difficult position to be in when you're trying to negotiate because they all don't know who they trust to be in charge among themselves, and we don't know who they are.
Well, they don't know who they trust to be in charge. They also are fighting over who wants to be in charge.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you get with a fractured regime. The thing about Iran that makes them unique than most other adversaries that you would fight is that is a religiously driven theocracy.
It's Sharia.
Like stuff like that is really hard to crack.
Yeah, because you're not fighting for this world.
Right.
You are fighting for the next world. And so you don't care about your life as much. I'm not saying you don't care about it at all, but you don't care about it as much. And that is definitely a play here.
Right.
I said this weekend on my weekend show, Wiggins America, that I wish that we could approach this issue as not Republican and Democrat. And a lot of things are like this, but especially with foreign policy, that we could just approach it as Americans and say, A, we don't like the gas prices, because who does? Who's going to look at that and go, yeah, I love this. Let's have this go on for a lot longer. No, of course you don't want that. But then also you have to acknowledge that there have been wins. Like if you're on the left, you're looking at this and basically not quite, but almost supporting Iran just because you hate Trump so bad. Like the media reports the worst possible things about this war all the time. But then conversely, if you are pro-Trump, you can't just hide your head in the sand and be like, this has been great. It hasn't been great. I don't even know if we know for sure that he fully saw how long this would take. Maybe he did. I don't know. I'm just saying I think that that's a fair criticism and that you can come at this from the middle, from an American standpoint, and say, I don't want this to go on, yet it has been successful, and maybe we do need to see it out.
Yeah. Yeah, when you look at this situation, to listen to national media reporting, the major media outlets reporting, you would think that maybe the United States has lost a couple ships and that Iran is battling them to a stalemate. And basically where we are is the United States has Iran in an armbar, theoretically speaking, and they're ready to break Iran's arm. And Iran, rather than tapping out, is screaming death to America.
Yeah.
You let me go or I'll beat you up.
Right.
Iran has nothing. They don't have anything left.
Right.
And they're just fighting and hanging on and not quitting.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's just the way it is in Iran. We really hoped that you'd see some sort of popular uprising that would happen that was already happening. And then for some reason, now it's not. I mean, it's just been a bizarre war. And I don't know what the end looks like. I do know that the less I'm paying at the pump, the happier I am. and the longer I'm willing to see it out. And that's just a common position. I don't think I'm unique in that. I'm saying everybody's feeling that across the United States. It is 12:33. We're going to take a short break and be right back and talk about a little bit lighter topic before we get to Ethan's America Today, which will be the Monday Roundup. And then Madison Scarpino will talk about the Spirit Airlines takeover just after 1 o'clock. Stick around. We'll be right back.
We've seen all kinds of clogs, so remember the rule. Only flush 3 things. Number 1, number 2, and toilet paper.
What about my dinosaurs?
No?
My monster truck?
Nope.
What about...
If it's not the big 3, don't flush it.
But if someone does flush a dinosaur...
Call Grasser. We clear the clog and get things moving again.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Ryan made the case in the first segment that the Democrats really haven't cast a vision for the future and what they are outside of we're against Trump. So what we want to know is who is the leader, in your opinion, who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Is it Kamala Harris? Is it Gavin Newsom? Is it Barack Obama? Or is it somebody else? Now, there is a caveat here. If you vote someone else, we want you to either text us at 314-241-9797 or leave a message on our YouTube chat and tell us who you think that someone else is. The time is 12:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. 250 years of capitalism, private ownership, and rugged individualism. Happy birthday, America, in 2026.
Hey, there we go. The liner we just played. Happy birthday, 250 years, America. Just outlined exactly why we love America. And really, we're saying things that conservatives tend to do more than Democrats.
We love America.
Rugged individualism, private ownership, and low taxes, or whatever it was. I can't remember. I wrote it, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, yeah, YouTube live chat poll today. Who's the leader of the Democrat Party? Is it Harris? Is it Newsom? Is it Obama? Or is it somebody else? I have Harris and Newsom on there because they tend to be the leaders for the 2028 campaign
In the
season.
campaigns, yeah.
But I just don't see them being the leaders of the party. Maybe Newsom, you could make an argument. Harris, you don't see her anywhere. So I don't know why she's still at the top of the charts.
Well, I guess whenever you think about leader, what is it that makes a person a leader in the Democrat Party? To me, like when you look at, it's obvious Donald Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. That means that he's casting policy and steering the direction of the party. That's what the leader is doing. Who is steering the direction of the policy of the party of the Democrats?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's the question.
I don't think it's Harris. That's all
no,
I'm saying.
I don't see. Harris has never been a vision caster to me.
No,
she's never struck me as like. She's always been a very like. I don't want to use the word good, but prominent politician within the Democrat Party. Same thing with Gavin Newsom. But Gavin Newsom, whenever he started that podcast, one of the things I watched about him is he just kind of was wishy-washy. So he had Charlie Kirk on. He's like, oh, yeah, I see where you're going there. And he would just kind of move off. Gavin Newsom what did Senator Jim Talent said there are thermostat and thermometer politicians?
Oh, yeah.
Gavin Newsom is a thermometer. He's checking the temperature of the room, and that's which direction his policy is going to go. So he doesn't cast vision. You can't do that. You're just checking the room.
You're just moving with
So we're looking for
it
the
is.
thermostat of the Democrat Party.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that leaves me with either Barack Obama or somebody else, and I'm still trying to think of who I think that is.
So let us know what you think about the YouTube live chat poll today as we go about the day. Annie is sick today. Hopefully she'll be back tomorrow. You are more of a Marvel guy than I am, right, Brad?
Yeah, probably.
I like Marvel movies. I know
Yeah.
Annie likes Marvel movies too. We talk about them
Yeah.
regularly on the show just when it comes up. Nothing, usually very big, unless like somebody is making news who's in one of them. Well, that's the situation here. It's Evangeline Lilly.
Okay. The Wasp.
The Wasp. She is in the MCU. She has put out some pretty controversial shame on you messages. Have you seen anything about this?
I have not.
Good. And it'll be new to you. So Evangeline Lilly posted a shame on you message to Disney about what they're doing, firing people. Now, that's a pretty common thing. Disney has let 1,000 people go from its company, mainly its entertainment and screen division. So not the parks.
Mhm.
In other words, the people who make the movies, Disney Plus,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, they are letting people go from that side of things because, as we also talk about on the show, the parks right now, they're making money.
Yeah.
And if you haven't noticed, your ticket prices, they're making money.
Yeah.
They're making good money, actually. They're investing a lot of money back into the parks because they are turning a major profit. But the screen side, not so much. And it's not just Disney, it's across the board. They're not really sure how to really turn the corner from traditional TV. They've all gone to streaming, but it was all like based on the future of TV is streaming. And they kind of never got to the future. A lot of them still in a lot of debt. I was reading about Peacock the other day. They have never, ever turned a profit. Peacock.
Seriously?
And for a long time, Netflix didn't either.
Man.
It was all, hey, we're the future. So lots of investment money coming in, but they never really got that investment money back out. I say all that in context of where Evangeline Lilly's coming from here. She says, quote, I reached out to my good friend Andy Park, who is the genius behind creating the original Wasp, Supersuit, and concept drawings. I said, hey, is this true that you've been fired and lots of the other people have been fired? Is this really happening? And she pivoted then to criticize Marvel about their pivot to AI. Now, here's where it gets really interesting and controversial. The guy said back to her, yes, it's true. I can't quite believe that, but Disney has let go of the artists who brought the Marvel universe to life through their genius, and that the people who invented these characters and who designed them and all the looks of everything in the Marvelverse, and probably a lot of other Disney areas too, that AI will now take their designs and what they created and use it to create iterations of that. So technically it's all owned by Disney.
Yeah.
And they're saying, we own the designs. We don't need you anymore because we're going to take your designs and use AI to mimic them for other things. And the quote goes on to say, I am so sorry, Andy. This is from Evangeline Lilly. I am so sorry to every one of the artists who were let go. Now, this is where the battle comes in, where people are looking at it from both sides, saying, look, if this is art, you can't just eliminate the artist and expect that it's going to be good. However, the opposite side is saying, yes, you can. Now you can. You couldn't in the past, but AI is getting so good. And yes, Disney does own the art. They paid them for it. So they do own it. So they can legally do whatever they want with it. And they're saying you probably won't even notice that these people are gone. What do you think?
I doubt that AI is going to be able to replicate art. I mean, AI can draw, AI can make movies, short little films and all that other stuff. It can do that. I understand what Disney's doing here. They're gambling. They're like, we won't have to pay these people, and it's our intellectual property. Like that, I'm sure that was part of the contract and everything whenever they signed. Whatever you design, whatever you come up with, this is actually the property of Disney and not you personally. So they don't really have a claim to say, hey, these are my designs that you're stealing. I designed this for you, and it is Disney's IP, intellectual property. But I definitely have doubts on the ability of AI to understand and do art. Drawing is one thing, art is different. And so whenever I look at it from an artistic standpoint, it will come out soulless. I could almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
They call it the uncanny valley. There'll be something about it that just isn't there. You won't be able to put your finger on it, and it'll just feel hollow.
I've seen Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire make that same argument quite often. There was a trailer for a fake movie going around recently in the last few months. And the caption of the trailer was, why do we even need people to make movies anymore? Because the trailer was really good. But ultimately, it was a trailer. It wasn't a whole movie.
Right.
And to make a story that's cohesive, that has these moments that grab you or make you mad or make you sad or make you laugh or whatever, AI can't do that yet. Now, what Disney's doing here isn't creating story.
No.
They're just mimicking designs. So I don't see why they can't do that. Obviously, legally, they can do it. But my approach to this has been, because me and my wife were really debating this weekend. She was saying kind of the same thing that you are. You can't just replace the human factor of art. And I said, I don't really think that's the driving motivation for them firing these people.
No. It's bottom line.
It is 100% bottom line. And they're just not making money on movies anymore, which speaks to a really bigger, different issue, which is that of all the predictions of where TV would go, because TV's obviously changing and dying in some ways, and it's switching to what? Well, all these investors thought it was going to switch to streaming because you wanted to watch the same TV shows and movies. You just didn't want to watch them in the same way anymore. You wanted to watch them on your time. Maybe you wanted to watch them commercial free too. You could upgrade and pay for that. But that's actually not the way it's gone. The next generation of viewers watches 30-second clips of everything. And that alone is replacing movies, which is a really weird prediction to make. I don't know that anybody could have made it. That the next generation, their attention span would be so short that watching a movie would be hard because that's where we are now.
You have to write a movie that draws people in and sucks people in. And the writing, like, you couldn't make an American Pie movie right now with the stupid slop humor that was and get people to pay for that. Because everything that came out of that movie is actually 30-second clips. They just took a bunch of those funny 30-second clips, smashed them together, and made them. You can't do that anymore.
That's what Caddyshack is.
Right.
If you've ever watched some of these old comedy movies, they don't really have plots.
It's just small little
just a bunch
sketches.
of little skits.
Yeah. So then you look at a movie like, what was it? Interstellar was a good movie, but the one with, I can't think of his name, played Ken in Barbie.
Ryan Gosling, Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary. That was a compelling story, and that movie made a ton of money.
I still haven't seen it.
It got people to come in and see it.
I'm not saying that all movies are dead.
No.
I'm just saying the industry surrounding these things is really struggling to figure out how to keep up. And so you're going to see stuff like this happen all the time because they can't afford to keep people that A, they have a way around now with AI, but B, maybe they would have fired them anyway because they're just not making as much.
You can't make money. Yeah. I think to me, what we're seeing is that the bar has been just moved way up because making a good movie got a whole lot harder because the 30-second brain rot clips is what's drawing the younger generation.
Yeah. I never thought I'd be like, oh, please God save movies. Because, you just thought this is like the way that America is entertained is through movies and TV. Yeah. And yet we're here going, oh, man, I hope that the next generation keeps these things around. I hope the industry's around. All right, short break. We're going to come back with Ethan's America. He's going to give us the Monday Roundup, and you will learn everything that you need to know that you didn't already know. Correct. He said correct. He didn't have his mic on. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins.
Not Wiggins America, Ethan's America. Ethan's America.
You started with the Imperial March.
You know, I never feel like I can come into this segment like, just happy or cool, because like that would be me acknowledging that I'm okay with that intro. And I'm just
You always
not.
have to complain about it.
I'm just not. I literally always have to complain
It's
about
the most fun when I'm here to hear it.
That's
because
part of-
sometimes I'm gone and you just take over.
That's
and
part of the reason that I feel like if I were to just have been like, hey, how's it going, guys? Then I'm just like acknowledging that what you did in making that is okay.
You can blow it off. I think we've been using the open long enough that you can just say, whatever, that's what it is.
No.
Okay.
No.
He's still
I can't.
He's still upset.
May the 4th be with you, gentlemen.
Thank you, and also with you.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Are you guys Star Wars people?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh, Brad is, but I'm not.
You're a Star Trek, right? You're more Star Trek?
More Star Trek.
I know absolutely nothing about Star Trek, but grew up on Star Wars a little bit. I feel like I'm a healthy general fan. Like I can recognize that some of the OG movies are really good, and I even like some of the new series, but I'm not a freak. I'm not a nerd about it like Brad is. Brad is just like, you go into his room at home and it's Star Wars pillow, Star Wars sheets, comforter, the curtains.
I have a full-length Obi-Wan Kenobi body pillow.
Yep, Halloween every year is Star Wars. It's kind of a little weird. Actually.
I feel like I am a happy, healthy, sexy adult.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. I have a survey here from USA Today that lists off the top 10 Star Wars characters. And actually, I'm only going to name the top 10. This is a list of the top 75. But
Dude,
we're not going to dive into that.
I'm a nerd. I'm not that big of a nerd.
We're not going to dive into that.
Is Ashoka on the list?
She is.
Porkins better.
She's number 6 on the list.
Too high.
No, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Too high.
She's number 6 on the
That
list.
series sucked.
And then
the Ahsoka series sucked, but the Clone Wars she was a critical character in that.
I also have a list of all of them ranked, all the series, all the movies. So we'll just see how far we get into this. But just to quickly dive into the top 10, USA Today's survey lists that Chewbacca is at number 10 on the list.
Of the sexiest characters?
No, not sexiest, just the favorite. Gosh. Maybe you could come up with the sexiest.
Ryan's like, where am I on this list?
He's like, I'd have Chewbacca at number 1.
I think it'd be weird to make him a sexualized character.
I think so,
What
too.
are we seeing beneath that fur?
A hunk of man.
Nothing, and that's where it comes in.
At number 9 is The Mandalorian. 8 is R2-D2. 7, I agree. 7 is Obi-Wan Kenobi. He'd be higher for me.
Yeah, he's too low too.
And then 6 is Ahsoka. Thank you. Number 5 is Yoda. 4, Luke Skywalker. Any guesses on 3, 2, 1? Anyone?
Well,
it's got to be like Leia. And
one's got to be Vader.
Darth
Han Solo's
Vader.
going to be like 2.
Yeah, he got it. 3 is Princess Leia. 2 is Han Solo. And number 1 is Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker.
That seems like, no offense, but that seems like the most dull list I've ever heard in my life.
What would you have preferred?
Aside from Ahsoka being on it, there was nothing controversial to even talk about.
It's controversial to put Luke below Leia.
Yeah, I am
still
surprised.
the top 10.
Do you have a character that would go into the top 10 that maybe would have been a dark horse? I have one.
Spock?
Darth Maul. I really liked Darth Maul.
Porkins.
It was such a short time that he was in it, but he was pretty awesome.
Darth Maul?
Yeah.
Oh,
pretty sick.
Darth Maul had a lot of stuff riding on him because he was supposedly the first Sith visible in over 1,000 years whenever he popped up in front of the Jedi there.
See?
Thank you.
Brad's a fan.
Yes, I told you. He's got the pillows and the comforter and the sheets. It's he's really into it.
I will say I am really excited about the Mandalorian movie.
They're coming out with a movie?
May 22nd,
real
man.
soon.
Dude.
Yeah, a couple weeks. My kids are excited about it. It's one of the things that me and my kids and my wife, we'll all actually sit down and watch together.
How many seasons of the show do they have?
Three?
Three? I think it's
Okay,
three.
I think I watched the first two. I never watched the third one. I think I just
the first
kinda
one was
checked out.
peak. The second one was pretty good. The third one, it just...
I really
it's not
liked the
bad.
first one, but the first one came out at the perfect time because it was
Yeah.
right in the middle of COVID
Mm-hmm.
and everyone had nothing to do. So it was like, hey, new Star Wars. And it was
good.
Huge.
Yeah.
It was really popular. Did you guys know that there are 28 combined different shows/movies for Star Wars? I did not realize that there was
makes
that
sense,
many.
Yeah.
Including animated stuff, probably?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
including the animated stuff. And I don't think that any of you, I'm not going to dive through all these. There's way too many to talk through all of them, but I am going to talk through some of the notable ones. Guess what is the very last 28th spot on this list?
Ahsoka.
The Acolyte.
The Acolyte.
I haven't watched that either.
Yeah, it
going
was not
to.
good.
But that one was the one that was very woke and controversial. Isn't it what ended up being
it
one
broke
of the
the
reasons
force.
Kathleen Kennedy got booted out?
I mean, it cost the studio big because it flopped.
What
really
was the
hard.
scene that was really controversial that people were upset about?
These were Force witches, and they created twins out of the Force, out of nothing. And so
It was like all women, right?
Right. And the thing was like that was supposed to be what made Anakin Skywalker special. The midichlorians, the Force created him. He didn't have a father.
Are we going to 57?
Yeah.
57, yeah.
25, Rise of Skywalker, is listed as the worst one. 23, The Phantom Menace. 22, Attack of the Clones.
Oh, The Phantom
21, The Last Jedi. Which
Phantom
a lot
Menace
of
should have
people
been ahead of that.
people don't like that one as well. Obi-Wan Kenobi listed at 17 on the list. It's no surprise that the top three are Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, and The Mandalorian.
Well, what was
in
number
1, 2, 3?
What's number 4 then?
Number 4 is Andor.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
We can go through this list a little bit more later because we only got through so much of it. But
I'd put The Mandalorian up there.
What'd you say?
I think The Mandalorian belongs at number 4. That's been my favorite one outside the originals.
There you
for
go.
Sure. All right, we'll be right back.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy weight gain or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
A renewed warning to Iran. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, as the U.S. launches an effort to help get ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv.
I spoke with President Trump for 20 minutes about the situation with Iran. He talked about Project Freedom and the U.S. efforts to guide vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, issuing a new warning to the Iranian regime, saying if the Iranians try to target U.S. ships in this area, they will be, quote, blown off the face of the earth.
The U.S. aiming to help hundreds of stranded vessels in the Persian Gulf.
We're talking about more than 20,000 sailors, and the president told Fox he's doing this for humanity. Some of these sailors were running out of food and supplies on these vessels due to the Iranian threats that are ongoing in this area.
The president also says the Iranians are being much more malleable than in the past as mediated efforts to make a deal continue. But Iran is denying CENTCOM's report that the U.S. sank several Iranian small boats for attacking ships. A federal judge just apologizing to the man accused of trying to kill President Trump over the treatment he's received in custody so far. The judge concerned about the suspect's rights at a hearing that wrapped up a short time ago. The Department of Corrections has Cole Allen on suicide watch.
An attorney for the government said that he was put on suicide watch because he told FBI agents the night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner attack that he didn't expect to survive.
Fox's Mike Emanuel at federal court in D.C.
But the judge very concerned about his constitutional rights, saying the defendant has requested a Bible, has requested meetings with his legal team, and that has not been allowed. He's been put in restrictive 24-hour lockup with no windows in a padded room without an opportunity to get out for recreation.
The judge wants more information from corrections officials by tomorrow. Allen is accused of trying to assassinate the president during a dinner event at a D.C. hotel. America is listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
This will be the warmest day of the week. Partly sunny skies, but let's keep an eye out for a couple of showers, couple of thunderstorms. Windy, how about 81 degrees? Tonight, clouds, a few showers and thunderstorms scattered about. Still mild, 60. Tuesday, periods of showers and thunderstorms. It's much cooler on Tuesday, 65 degrees. Wednesday, partly sunny and chilly, 58. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get your AC ready for summer while helping shelter pets. Book your AC clean and check in April, and Air Comfort Service will donate a bag of pet food to Open Door Animal Sanctuary. AirComfortService.com/pet food.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
There was a proposed merger between JetBlue and Spirit Airlines in 2022. The last administration, Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden said, you know what? We want competition. We're not going to allow this merger to happen. And because of that, right after, Spirit filed for bankruptcy. And then last year, they filed for bankruptcy a second time. They were bleeding money. They were bleeding market share. It would have made JetBlue stronger. You would have had one stronger airline as opposed to one airline going out of business. And so the story was written years ago.
Seems like a pretty cut and dry story. They were not making enough money, and they've gone out of business. We're talking about Spirit Airlines. This was big news of the weekend, especially if you're in airports. You probably saw some people just standing there going, What am I going to do now? Because they just shut it down. Madison Scarpino is here, Fox News national correspondent, to give us the lowdown of what happened this weekend. Madison, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
So give us just the broad overview of what has happened to Spirit Airlines.
Yes, so basically you heard Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy earlier, the sound that you guys just played. He had said that, obviously Spirit has been suffering financially for a while, but right now he is pointing towards the proposed merger that the Biden administration blocked back in 2024. And he's saying basically from there, things just started to go downhill, which eventually brought Spirit Airlines to what happened on Saturday when they abruptly, around 3 a.m., announced that the airline is shutting down. All flights are canceled, and now we know about 17,000 people who worked for Spirit are without a job.
So, Madison, why wouldn't the Biden administration allow a merger to happen? What was their rationale for doing so?
So they wanted to essentially keep the competition going and just be fair to all airlines. And Senator Elizabeth Warren also praised that back in the day. And now with Secretary Sean Duffy sort of blaming the Biden administration for Spirit's downfall, she's coming back and saying, no. The judge who ultimately blocked this proposed merger between JetBlue and Spirit Airlines was a Ronald Reagan appointed judge. And then she is pointing towards the rising fuel prices with the war in Iran. But yeah, that is something that both Airlines for America President Chris Sununu and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy are pointing towards, is the Biden administration blocking that proposed merger.
I'm glad you mentioned the Elizabeth Warren tweet because she said several things, but I actually printed out her tweet. I didn't know if we'd get to it, but now that you've mentioned it, it says this. This is Elizabeth Warren saying this in 2024, I believe, maybe a little bit before that. She says, I've warned for months that a JetBlue Spirit Airlines merger would have led to fewer flights and higher fares. Justice, ATR, and U.S. Department of Transportation were right to stand up for consumers and fight against runaway airline consolidation. This is a Biden win for flyers. I'm not sure how she spins her way out of saying that at this point.
Yeah, it's controversial because we don't know ultimately if there is one thing to pinpoint to what caused Spirit to shut down. It could be a mix between the proposed merger being shut down. Also, like I mentioned, a lot of Democrats pointing towards fuel prices with the war in Iran, but Secretary Duffy will really push back on that and saying, no. Financial problems have been going on for years now. They filed for bankruptcy twice. President Trump was trying to step in and potentially save the airline with a bailout, but that deal ultimately failed. And after that, there really was no hope for the airline to stay in the air.
Madison, we see companies frequently declare bankruptcy, and they're not actually done operating. I guess it's Chapter 7 versus Chapter 11, different types of bankruptcy. But is there any hope that Spirit Airlines could still be bought by somebody like JetBlue? Or I saw that Frontier Airlines had looked into it as well in 22. Is it just that, no, now that this has happened, that airline is completely worthless?
From everything that I've gathered, everything that we are hearing from the airline itself, the CEO, Trump officials, just other congressmen, senators, it seems as though Spirit Airlines is going to be no more. I haven't heard about any hope for a potential buyout and any reverse of the course that they have already gone.
Madison Scarpino, last question for you. As we move along here, is if this is a story that where you fly a lot, obviously this would affect you. But if you're, not somebody who takes a lot of trips, is this a major news story in America? Is it just because it's such a big business story?
I think it's a big deal. I mean, a lot of people do fly Spirit. This is really the go-to airline for people who maybe can't afford to take one of the other airlines. It's a low-budget airline. It's been popular for that. And I think that the reason it's such a big story is this is the first airline to shut down in about 25 years. I believe, everyone knows what Spirit Airlines is. And again, I think that those 17,000 people who worked for Spirit now being without a job, Transportation Secretary Duffy is saying that other airlines are going to maybe give their applications some they basically would be first in line to get hired at another airline, but 17,000 is a lot of people, and they are based in Florida. And people for the small town that is by the airport are already saying that this is going to be a huge economic blow for the community there.
I had said last question, but you made me think of another. Hopefully that's okay. But what happens to the customers now? I mean, if you had a flight booked, whether it was on Sunday or you had one booked out from, a couple months from now, what happens to you if you have Spirit Airlines money in the game, if you paid for a ticket?
Yeah, so Spirit, when they announced that they would be shutting down, did say that they are going to refund everyone who bought a ticket. Just speaking with the very few people who did show up to the airport when we were covering this over the weekend who didn't realize that Spirit was shut down, they didn't see any refunds into their account just yet. We know that may take some time. But on the other hand, and that's if you booked with a debit or credit card. If you booked through a travel agent, that may be a little bit more complicated, and people should definitely go ahead and try and get moving on how to get their money back if that's the case. But on the flip side, other airlines such as United, Delta, JetBlue, and Southwest are agreeing to cap prices specifically for people who had Spirit tickets that were bought, meaning they wouldn't charge as much as they usually do if you do have the proof of that confirmation number of that Spirit flight. And then some airlines also are saying that they are going to be reducing fares, but that's only going to last for some airlines are only doing it for the next 72 hours. Some are doing it for up to 2 weeks. So for people who do have a flight booked and need to get somewhere and need to now go with another airline, if you want to pay the same price that you paid for the Spirit ticket, you probably should act fast.
Yeah, if you were on vacation and you're just somewhere, this is quite a difficult situation. You go, oh, I thought I had a flight home, and now I don't. Madison Scarpino, Fox News national correspondent. Appreciate your time and your expertise today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And the one thing that I'm glad that Trump, he floated it. I almost wish he wouldn't have. I'm glad that he didn't go through with it, is bailing out this company. I saw Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful or whatever he's called from Shark Tank on one of the Fox News shows this weekend talking about that very thing, that why would we get involved in bailouts? There are times when you're too big to fail, and even then, I question whether you actually are too big to fail. This is definitely not one of those times, though. This is an airline, and it sucks if your 17,000 people suddenly don't have a job, or, like we just said at the end, if you flew to Florida and you're on vacation and you go to the airport and you're ready to come home, all of a sudden you don't have a way to get home. That sucks.
That's a big deal.
That is a problem. And so that stuff needs to be addressed. It sounds like they are getting people refunds at least, so that's good.
Well, good for the other airlines that are willing to cap their prices to give those people a chance to make good on their flights.
Yeah, it seems like it would be tough to do so real last minute like that. I mean, I guess you want to attract the business. You know, why wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, like if you're trapped in Florida or whatever and you're trying to fly home and United or one of the other companies that she mentioned bails you out, you're probably going to have a little loyalty toward that company. So this is an investment into the future.
Yeah, I saw a note on my Southwest app this weekend. I was looking to, just book a flight way out in October. I was looking at prices because it seems like these days the further out you book, the better it is. Used to be about 3 months was the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then you'd find the best prices. I'm not sure that that's true anymore. But I was looking at way out flights, and there was lots of notes to customers of Spirit Airlines every time I'd go in there, telling them, here's what we're doing to try to solve it. So I guess it's what you have to do. And why wouldn't you? I mean, you're gaining money by offering that to people, even if it's a little bit less than it would have been. Those are probably empty seats for you at this point because you're so close to flying. But anyway, weird story. I mean, just weird that Spirit Airlines, they've always been struggling, but this is a business story and a political story at the same time. And I almost want to stop and jump into the next segment and spin this into our YouTube live chat poll, who's the leader of the Democrat Party, because we talked about at the beginning of the show, who is the thought leader of the Democrat Party? What's the policy that Democrats are even pitching to America right now to say, hey, here's what we can do differently. Even if they don't control all of Congress, they'll do this anyway. Mm-hmm. I get the semantics of, well, if you don't have the presidency, there's not much you can do policy-wise, but they don't care. They do that all the time anyway. Right. They'll go, if you elect us, we'll fix health care. or whatever. They have no actual ability to do it, but they'll say it anyway. They're not even saying it. So I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know that I want to steal the thunder for the next segment, but some of the stuff that I've been hearing about from Democrats on this is what they want to do if they retake the House is immediately launch investigations into the Trump administration.
Investigations.
That doesn't help anybody.
And we talked about last week, Annie played a clip from House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries saying everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. And he was talking about how to basically gut or change the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're talking about major institutional change, which he actually can't do with just the House. Like I was just saying, you don't have full authority of the government to be able to do whatever you want, even if you have both chambers of commerce and the presidency. If you did, we'd be seeing a lot more change right now. But no, the filibuster stops that. So what are you talking about, Hakeem Jeffries, in saying everything's on the table to change the Supreme Court? Are you just making donor statements? You probably are. But what you're saying is actually pretty frightening because you're making radical, transformative statements that you can't fulfill without basically war. That's what he's doing. That's irresponsible. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about economic stuff and why Democrats are continuing to get it wrong. I don't think you'll be surprised by the examples that I give, but I have a lot of them. I've done some research here, and I'm going to talk about some companies that you know that are moving all over this country to get out of blue areas. Stick around. That's next.
Hey, it's good to hear you.
Hey, Dad, isn't it good to see ya?
Yep, but with smoke alarms, we need to hear them. If one alarm is downstairs, you might not hear it upstairs.
At school, everyone hears the fire alarm.
That's why we install hardwired smoke alarms that all go off together, just like school.
Smoke alarms done the right way.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep. Graybar does that.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Spring is here in St. Louis, and if you're thinking about selling, now's the time. But timing is only part of it. Hey, it's Mark Cox, and I'm with Gloria Liu, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria, why is it still so important to choose the right realtor?
Simple. Not every home is selling fast or for top dollar. Here's the difference. I already have the buyers. With over 2,400 buyers in waiting, I'm not just listing your home. I'm matching it with demand. That's how I offer my guaranteed sale program. We sit down, agree on the price and timeline, and if your home doesn't sell, I'll buy it myself. But my goal isn't to buy your home, it's to sell it for the most money possible in the least amount of time. And that's exactly what my system does. My clients don't have to hope their home sells. I guarantee it.
If you're selling your home this spring, call the one I trust, Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. thebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Something terrible happened this weekend. I had a horrible revelation about candy that I am loath to share here. I know. You know how whenever you go to a gas station, especially, or maybe a Walmart, and you want to pick up a big candy bar, not the little ones, not the traditional ones, which have gotten even smaller, by the way.
Are you talking about like the king-size ones?
Thank you. Oh, that's what you call them, huh? You call them king-size candy bars. That's what all of us call them.
Family-size?
No. They have been, in the past, always called king-size candy bars. But I realized something as I was eating some peanut butter and jelly M&Ms this weekend. I'm holding this up. You see what the label now says on the corner there that I kind of ripped off? They say share size. This is a communist takeover of candy. They said, no kings.
No kings.
Get rid of king size, and then we're going to make you buy the same size package, although you get a little bit less than you used to, and we're going to make you share it with people. It's communism, and it's happening to our candy. Brad, I was sad to report that. But I wrote it down as something that needed to be addressed, especially.
Have you notified the Trump administration?
I haven't. This was the first step. You got to make it public information first, and now we'll take this clip. We'll send it to Will Scharf. Make sure that they all know.
I can see him looking at his phone like, why are they sending me this?
What do they do? I haven't heard from this guy in a year and a half. Why is he sending me this?
Next thing you know, there's an executive order on his desk.
Right, yeah. No more share size. That's for you. And quit putting that there's all these different portions in it. What do they say on the back here? They said, oh, this is 3 servings. No, it's a king-size meal for me. It's one serving. It's not even enough. I could eat 2 of these.
You're going into Jerry Seinfeld now.
And they're getting smaller. Anyway, I say that because it's a humorous introduction to actual business changes that are happening in the United States. If you live in a blue area, you're probably seeing businesses are just fleeing. And a lot of them are small. And you can start by being in downtown St. Louis. And guess when it really started to happen? When you Democrats decided we're going to shut down all businesses. And we don't want businesses to operate, or schools, or people to enjoy themselves or get together. We're doing it because we're smarter than you, and we want you
for your own
It's
good.
for your good. We're going to do it. And so all the businesses left. And you know what they did not do? Come back. They just didn't. And so that was a big part of this, although it's not the only thing. We're talking about some big, big businesses here leaving California. And I'll get to the biggest news here in just a second, which does not involve California, but it's a blue state. Chevron is leaving California. They are moving from San Ramon, California to Houston, Texas. You'll find a theme here. Actually, they already did this, or they had started doing it already. A big one that you already knew about is Tesla, SpaceX, and Twitter X. The founder of all 3 companies happens to be Elon Musk. He blamed politics for the departure from the Golden State and moved all of his operations also to Texas. Didn't he make a town in Texas?
Yeah. Well, for SpaceX.
Oh, was it called Starbase?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, there it is right there. Yeah, for SpaceX, which is cool. Like, if you can make a town, make a town.
It was like, hey, we'll build houses. You can live here.
Let's just do it. Charles Schwab. Now, these are companies you don't really think about. Like the Elon Musk, okay, that's public. But Charles Schwab, yeah, they chose to ditch California right around COVID due to high costs in the state. So that wasn't even really, it was right before COVID that they did this, just because costs were getting out of control. And they moved to Texas. Oracle. This is a company owned by Larry Ellison, moved out of California to Hawaii in 2020, but also moved most of their operations. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Larry Ellison himself moved to Hawaii. That makes more sense.
Okay.
Now I understand.
I was going to say, Hawaii is going to bury you in taxes, too.
Exactly. No, he moved the company to Texas. And then Public Storage is a huge company founded in 1972 near San Diego. They have been there for obviously generations now. They announced in February that they're moving their corporate headquarters to, you guessed it, Texas. Now, I don't know that all these were put together in a list just because it was California to Texas. I think this is just compiling a bunch of companies that were leaving. But the reason that I brought this up and looked this up today is because, A, we're talking about what does the Democrat Party stand for, which Americans can't figure out according to polling. They don't want to vote for Trump right now because Trump is the big heavy object in the room, and he's brash and he's big, and so he's going to drive voter turnout. And that means that very well Democrats could and probably will win at least the House in the midterms. But people, aside from that, don't really know what they're voting for when they vote for Democrats. We're voting against Trump, but we don't really know what we're voting for when we're voting for Democrats. And all of that is reflected in the fact that in general, what you see is a slight tilt toward Republicans overall in acceptability, or whatever you call it, the popularity polls, that Americans actually still slightly prefer Republican policies in the midst of all of this. The reason I bring up all these companies leaving is because we've asked the question, what do they stand for? I don't think that Democrats seem to understand economics very well. And I'm not trying to lob bombs in saying that. I just don't know whether it's the chicken or the egg. Is it that you become a Democrat and then you ascribe to certain ideologies like socialism, for instance, like high taxes, high regulation, because you're a Democrat? Or do you not have a very good understanding of economics in general, and therefore, because of that, you are easily wooed by Democrats? If somebody comes to you and you don't really understand economics, even on a basic level, and they go, you know what we should do is we should have free cell phones for everyone in America. And you go, well, heck yeah, why wouldn't you want that? Does that cause you to become a Democrat? Chicken and egg, I don't know which one it is. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be like obtuse Republican talk show host here. I genuinely don't know the answer as to why Democrats don't seem to understand economics, but I got lots of proof as to companies knowing that they don't.
Well, I think that it has a lot more to do with the personality of the individual that would vote Democrat versus the person that would vote Republican. I think that the person that votes Democrat tends to be a lot more empathetic, and they'll look at a policy like, why can't we give health care? Like, these companies make a ton of money. They don't need all of it. Why can't we give health care to these other people?
Yeah.
These billionaires, they have a lot of money. They don't need it all. Why can't we just take some of that and then use it to benefit everybody else? And what they don't realize is that profit motivates production. Like, so they look and they see this right here. The immediate result would be, oh, these people get health care, nobody starves, everybody's happy. What they don't realize is that these people who are the big earners, the ones that they're trying to take the extra money from, they're in essence, what they're doing is punishing them for being successful. So that person, who is also a smart person, because that's how they're able to make billions, they didn't make billions because they're all crooks. They made billions because they're smart and they're good at what they do. They'll look at that same situation and say, why, once I reach that certain threshold, whatever that monetary amount is that you say that I can't make more than, why would I continue to produce beyond that? And so then that extra money that you were taking, it craters. You don't have that anymore because the producers don't have the initiative to buy it. They just don't think far enough down the line. They look immediate gratification rather than
that's what I'm saying about chicken and egg. Is this a type of person that doesn't really, they're not able to see down past A, B, C. That's as far as they can go.
That's what I would say. Yeah, that it's just they're just not capable of that level of thinking.
I guess so. But this applies to so many things. I mean, it literally applies to the Spirit Airlines story.
But I mean, if I look at leadership, I think leadership is absolutely capable of that, and they want the power. They're not after the same thing.
So they understand it.
They understand that this isn't going to work, but we can also turn those people into a bad guy for not working and continuing on. We can make them look bad and keep the people angry at them.
Spirit Airlines is a great example because you have to understand if a company, a major company, especially really any company, but a major company is saying we're bankrupt. We have to do something or else we're going to not exist because we're not making money. Well, at some point, you have to sort of take the reins off of government and say, well, I understand that these airlines merging would cause XYZ for consumers, but the alternative is that in 2 years, this company will not exist. So is it better to have the company not exist because we regulated it, or is it better to have the company exist and yes, there were some more fees added because you made a larger company, but at least there's more options for people? That was the exact situation that you found in a Biden administration versus a Trump administration. And the two competing philosophies, you can see it in real time how it played out. I held back one economic story, which I'm going to get to here in a second, but I was watching movies this weekend, and it's amazing how often you think I'm going somewhere with this, and it's not where you think. It's amazing how often the bad guy in a movie is corporate greed. And it's either personified in a person or a company or whatever. It's corporate greed or it's greed. My argument is that that's actually really good for America. Greed is bad. Like we have to acknowledge that even as conservatives, that greed is bad. We tend to not do that enough.
Greed is bad.
We tend to sort of overlook that by saying, yes, but the philosophy that leads to capitalism is good. And then liberals go, yeah, but corporate greed is bad. The answer to that question is, hang on, your solution, though, is that you just make everything more government friendly. Like you just heavy hand government, force people into not being greedy. That's not the solution.
Well, their solution is also a greed of a different kind.
Yeah, it's like a public greed.
Yeah.
It's a more broad greed. Share with me. I'm going to share with everybody else. But I think that we tend to see that in movies and go, oh, here we go again. But actually, it is good to call out greed and corporate greed because that stuff is bad. And in fact, in a healthy capitalist society, when you have the media calling out corporate greed, that actually is a check on corporate greed. That's great. And so we used to have this back and forth a little bit more, I'd say 20, 30 years ago, where everybody in America kind of understood, hey, our capitalist system is good. However, people using it inappropriately is bad. And that's where you have movies and TV shows that would call it out. And it was a good balance. It didn't solve everything, but it was good. Now we've gotten to where the other side, Republicans are still capitalists. The other side don't even believe in basic capitalism anymore. That's been the problem.
Well, it's because the way that they used to call out greed, and they also used to celebrate philanthropy. Like if you go back and you look at the movie Annie, Daddy Warbucks is a billionaire, but he does good things with his money at the end of the movie. You know, so they also use the what is it, the stick and the carrot, where it's like you offer them a reward, but you also offer them shame for not doing the right thing.
I held this story back for the last second just so we could wrap on this. The one that kicked off this whole discussion. Starbucks has announced last week that they are establishing a new $100 million Southeast corporate hub in Nashville, Tennessee. Now they're saying, well, we're not really moving. We're just moving everybody and our corporate headquarters to Tennessee away from their famous location of Seattle. Like you think of Starbucks, you think of Seattle. And the Seattle mayor, Katie Wilson, is under fire because she was recently calling for a Starbucks boycott. And Starbucks is like, look, we're friggin' done with this. Yes, we are Seattle, and yes, we're now going to be Tennessee because we're so sick of this stupid policy crap. Even Starbucks is leaving blue areas and blue states to go to red ones. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Well, it's Monday. It's the first time we're telling you. I'm sure Mark Cox told you already because they gave away some tickets. But Guns N' Hoses Soccer Cup is coming to the Worldwide Technology Soccer Park on May 30th. And we are giving you a chance to win tickets every single day, both in the Mark Cox Morning Show and the Annie Fry Show and in the Mark Reardon Show. Every day, once per show, you will get that chance. Ours is coming up in about an hour, so a little past 2:30, we will tell you when to call, and we'll give you the phone number, and be aware that you will have to dial and be the 9th caller when we tell you to call if you want to win those tickets. It is 1:37. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Did you put this song in because the Manny Fry Show?
Maybe.
Did you know that you'd be in for this segment?
I did not know that.
We called you in for a very specific reason.
Uh-oh.
We have a thought experiment.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, I pulled sound for it, and Brad saw the sound, and he's like, oh, I've heard of this before. I'm like, dang it, I wanted to bring it live. So you don't have any idea what we're doing right now, right?
No.
Good. There is a moral quandary kind of like thought experiment question that's been making the rounds. And it got really high up. I would say Mr. Beast is maybe the biggest influencer in the world. Anybody argue with that?
Probably.
Be hard to argue that.
At least among people who became influencers by being influencers.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who were famous who became influencers because they were also famous.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just an internet guy.
Yeah.
Didn't he host Saturday Night Live recently? Like it was the first one ever that was just a Saturday Night Live host, or was on it maybe. I'm mixing things up. Anyway, point being, he has put out a poll that got over 300,000 votes on this moral question.
I think there was a segment about him, but
maybe there
was on it.
Okay. I thought he was actually on the show. I don't know if he was hosting, but I think he went in and was on it. So I'm going to play this from a different influencer because it's all over the place. And this will summarize the thought experiment. Listen very closely.
It's a thought experiment that says everybody in your country has to push a blue button or a red button. Don't ask me why it's not important. Everyone has been told that if more than 50% pick blue, everyone lives. If not, if less than half of the people picked blue, then everyone who picked red will live and all the people who picked blue will die. Which would you pick, red or blue? What's the most rational choice?
And that's the question. Now, the quandary goes on, if you want to get real technical, to say, and I don't know if this really impacts anything, to say that each family would have to pick one representative to vote for their whole family, so that you're not just voting for you. You're voting for everybody in your household. I don't know if that changes anything. I just thought it was interesting. But again, if you didn't quite catch what he's saying there, because it's complicated, I'll read it again. It says, everyone in your country or everyone on earth, whatever you want, takes a private vote. Now, you don't know the results of the vote. You are the only one. You vote and you press either a red button or a blue button. If more than half of the total population presses the blue button, everyone survives. But if less than 50% press the blue button, only the people who pressed the red button survive. Which one do you, and we'll start with you just because you're coming in fresh here. Ethan, which one do you press for you and your household, for you and your wife? Are you pressing blue? Or are you pressing red? And why?
Oh, gosh, this is horrible. I don't like, I mean, why would you?
There's a clear answer, though, and I want to see if you get to it.
I mean, I'm picking blue.
So you're picking blue and hoping that that at least 50% of the people pick blue. Because then you and everyone survives.
It's the same thing in the sense that if 50% pick blue, everyone survives. But on the other side, if 50% pick red, 50% or more pick red, then only the red survives. Yes?
Yeah, any percentage picks red, only reds. Yeah, right. 50% or more, I guess, because that would negate the blue.
So the way to get there is the same, but the outcome, the result, is what is different. Why would you not pick blue?
That's a good question. So you're picking blue because you're hoping enough people pick with you to get over 50% so that everybody survives regardless of which color they pick.
I guess the debacle becomes that people will pick red. Do people know, like, they know this going in, though? Like, if you pick red, then, like, a certain amount has to pick in order for you to survive? Do they know that part? Or do they only, saying pick red or blue?
There is no certain amount of red that has to be picked for you. If you pick red, you survive.
Oh, I thought it had to be a certain percentage.
No.
Oh.
No, if you pick red, you live.
Oh, gosh. This is difficult.
Is it?
I mean, well, that changes it to where, like, you want the slam dunk to be, like, picking red, though, right? Like, if you're picking red and over 50%, wouldn't it be red then at that point?
There's a predictive measure that goes into any social question like this, where you're trying to figure out what is the mass of people going to do.
Right.
And so you're trying to kind of base it on that. Like, are there enough quote unquote good people that will pick blue so that no matter what happens, everybody will survive?
Sure.
But rationally, and people are starting to pick up on this in the comments, so you can't look. Rationally, I want to hear. No, I'll stop. Brad, how do you answer this question?
I'm pressing red button. I mean, like,
just automatically you survive.
Yeah, not even a question about it, because this is what I'm looking at and this is what I'm thinking. There is nobody that is relying on anybody to ensure that they survive. Everybody has the option to press the red button and survive. Red, you survive. Blue, maybe you survive. Why press blue at all? What is less than 50% is 0%. And if 0% of the people press blue, 100% of the people survive. All you got to do is walk into that room and press red.
I took it as, I took it though as, I guess, and where I got mixed up in the qualifications was the percentages, and that's what confused me, because that does make sense.
Well, this is a very confusing question. Yeah. I'll tell you the results of Mr. Beast's poll, 300,000 people. Now, that's a little different because I think you can click see results before you vote on Twitter, so that's got to affect things. But 56% picked blue, which means everybody would survive. But I also think they could see the results, or they could cheat and see them. If you're in a situation where you have no idea what the results are, a lot of people are picking up on this in the chat right now. But what I'm saying is a lot of people are coming to the same conclusion as you. I think it's the wrong conclusion. Info Dude says, I'll highlight it, says, press red. You are guaranteed to live. Well, yeah, but that's just about you. What about everybody? Ender says, this is a logical question posed as a moral one. The logical choice is red, period. I agree. Because if you go in thinking about yourself, you're going to press red, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go in thinking about all of society and you really examined it, you also would pick red. Because everybody needs to pick red to survive.
Yeah.
And if everybody does, then they do.
Yeah. I got confused in the percentages.
That's what everybody did. Like the most obvious answer when you first hear it is, well, I hope that everybody would pick blue.
Mm-hmm.
I would pick blue because I'm a good person, and therefore everybody needs to pick blue. But it's not that way.
The first time that you asked it, I also immediately went to, I was thinking more so about like, okay, what's the science and like maybe like the color and like the what do people prefer and, you know, maybe blue being said first. Like immediately
Is politics in it too,
I
maybe?
wasn't even like thinking the first time you asked it about like the detail behind it. I was thinking more so like, why did I go to blue? Well, I went to blue because I prefer the color. It's more of a calming color.
Okay.
It's also what was said first. So my mind, the first time you asked, went a different direction. And then you asked it again. I was like, oh, there's obviously like, this is a way different question than how I was trying to like, you know, pose
Yeah, the
it
colors
in my
don't
mind.
actually matter.
Yeah, right.
It's the percentages and what
Right.
happens that matter. Because it could be white and black.
Right,
It could be
right.
green and yellow. It doesn't matter at all. But you got it. Did you
Yeah.
know it before this?
Well, the first time I heard it, that's immediately where my brain
Me
went.
too.
It's like just press the red button and then tell everybody that you know, that you love, that you care about, listen, press the red button. You will survive. There's no need for anybody to rely on anybody else for this. You control your fate in pressing the red button. Do what's right and press the red button, and everybody survives.
It actually, when you like explain it out, becomes a really easy answer.
It does, doesn't it?
It's not even up to a question. I think
By
Ender
ad
had
space,
it.
preach it from the mountaintops.
Yeah.
Press the red button.
Right.
Everybody survives.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, if you somehow disagree with us, let us know in the chat, and we will consider it. I'm not sure how you will change our minds, but we're open
Isn't
to
that
it.
funny though? Like, because I guess the opposite side would be just, I guess, not understanding the entirety of the question and trying to point out that they want to help people, but you're actually potentially hurting everyone if you get
or killing yourself
less than 50%.
Well,
right?
you're only hurting yourself.
Yeah, you are. You're just probably killing yourself.
Blue is hurt yourself or run the risk of hurting yourself.
Unless it gets over 50% of the vote, which it did
red
when
is,
Mr. Beast did it.
You don't get hurt at all. Nobody gets hurt. Anybody who presses red, no one gets hurt.
And I'm not sure if you can see results before you vote on Twitter or not. I don't think you can. So
You
this
might be
makes me
right.
think that just 56% pick blue, like me.
Like to me,
I can't make fun of them. I picked blue too.
To me, the only thing that changes the calculus is that not everybody. Like if there were a population group that wouldn't get to press red or blue, they're just dependent on the results.
The chat's blowing up, so if you want to leave a comment, let us know. We have one question that we do not know the answer to. That is the YouTube live chat poll question of the day. Who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Is it Kamala Harris? Is it Gavin Newsom? Is it Barack Obama? Or is it somebody else? If it is somebody else, let us know who it is. Some interesting suggestions in there. I saw an AOC pop up. I hadn't thought about that. That's an interesting comment. We'll let you know the results at the end of the day. It is 1:48. This time check, this segment. You can see where I'm at. Look, I'm not the host. I'm the co-host. I typically do the time checks. We'll be right back.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the Guns N' Hoses First Responders Soccer Cup, May 30th at Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. Law enforcement battles firefighters and EMTs on the field, all for a great cause. 971talk.com/events.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholt of Kaufman Townsley. Injured at work? Not choosing the best lawyer will cost you. But here's the good news. Since you don't pay unless we win, you can afford the very best. Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-777-7777.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit ThrottleNet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Brad, I missed my wife's birthday while I was out of town. It was planned.
You pressed the blue button.
Thank you. But we knew it was going to happen. I said, what's the best weekend for me to take our youngest son to some theme parks? And that was the best one. And so she agreed. Okay. She agreed to it.
So it wasn't an accident.
It wasn't an accident, but she was in the midst of her play season. She just did this huge musical at school. And so she's like, look, I'm in the midst of this. I wouldn't even have time to go do anything anyway. So let's just do it after you get back and after it's all done. I said, that sounds great. So this weekend, even though it was not quite, I think it's 2 weeks after her birthday, we finally got to go do a birthday celebration dinner. And I didn't know exactly what she wanted to do, but she said, I want to go eat ramen.
Okay.
At this popular little restaurant. I can't remember it was Tamanru or something like that.
Okay.
Near Tower Grove Park. And we went there, and it's one of those that doesn't have a lot of seating, and so there's always people standing outside waiting to get in. Mm-hmm. So it always looks like, oh my gosh, there's so many people there, but it's just a very small.
4 chairs.
Yeah, no, but it is very popular, and we've never eaten there, and we ate there, and it was fine. And then we went and got massages afterwards on Olive, which was cool.
No.
Yeah, well, I guess it was.
No.
It was good. It was
good for you
reflexology massage.
Good for you guys, but
we haven't done it in a few years, but we did, and it was fun. And we were driving around, and we noticed that this happens everywhere, but it happens more in the city, maybe because there's more population. We were just smelling a lot of weed.
Oh.
This was a Saturday night.
That's funny.
We were smelling a lot of weed, and we posed the question, why, if you were a police officer, would you not see somebody drive by you, immediately smell the waft, and go, 2 + 2 = 4. I'm going to go pull that person over. Maybe that does happen. I've just never heard anybody say that does happen. And if the answer is, well, we have bigger fish to fry in the city, totally understand. I do. Like if you've been told, look, there are crimes and then there are crimes. Go after the big ones. Totally understand. But then why aren't our suburban officers doing it? Why aren't they doing it in the middle of rural Illinois and rural Missouri?
Well, I guess that begs the question, like, because is it a moving violation? Like,
Well,
can you pull people over on suspicion of that?
I don't know the answer to that. My presumption
You
would
think
be
so,
yes.
right? Driving under the influence.
You just saw evidence that there might be drugs going on in that car. Now they may be legal, but you can't drive with them. So
we can't drive and be high.
You can't. That's what I'm saying. You can't drive high. So if somebody in your car is high, then that would be enough suspicion, right?
Yeah, I think the other question then is too. You pull that person over, like with alcohol, you give them a breathalyzer, and they are clearly intoxicated. What is the determination that you're impaired? Because you'd have to be impaired for it to be illegal, right? Because otherwise the person could just say, no, I smoked the joint, I'm fine, but I didn't do it while I was driving.
This is where I hit my knowledge cap. I don't know how you test to see if you're high while driving.
Right.
I think that there are tests. As I understand it, and again, I'm beyond myself here. I don't know.
Like, does a field sobriety test count?
But I think that when they do a test to see if you're high, they can't get instant results. I think they have to send them off and get the results back. I don't care, though. Take your time. Get the person's license plate, get their license and
Go get 'em
number,
later.
and get them later. I mean, that's the way this will have to go. But I'm fine with them doing something. I'm just so sick of smelling it.
Yeah, Terry and I went to the Cardinals game on Sunday, and whenever we were leaving, we got up to the level that we were parked at in the parking garage, and I stepped up that last step, and it's like, oh man, it smells like weed on here. And the closer we got to our car, the more it smelled like it. And there's somebody standing in the parking garage smoking a joint.
Yeah, and that is entirely up to them. Except when I have to start smelling it, and then it's not up to them anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's in my territory.
Yeah, I told my wife that legalizing marijuana was a mistake. That we trusted potheads to do the right thing. Like, okay, we trust you to be responsible with this, and you have not.
A new study links cannabis and anxiety, and that depression has strengthened over time. This is the New York Post. Science is still split on whether the effects of cannabis are good or bad, but recent research showing that it could increase depression and anxiety seems to be the direction that it's going. It has an impact on altering the dopamine activity that closely resembles patterns observed in psychosis, which would make sense, right? You're altering your brain chemistry. Don't you need that high and then you'd get a low afterwards? That just seems obvious to me. Anyway, I've hit my cap. It is almost 2:00.
Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800 894-7722.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Spring and summer air should feel fresh, not full of dust and allergens and whatever winter left behind in your air ducts. Mark Cox here. You know, your vents are the lungs of your home, and if they're dirty, you're breathing it in every day. That's where Zero Res comes in, backed by thousands of Google reviews and a 4.9 rating. This month only, get a whole system air duct cleaning for just $5.99. 314-474-2020 or visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the 97.1 special.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777. In a critical waterway. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The U.S. says ships are beginning to pass as part of a U.S. operation to free up a key shipping lane.
A South Korean cargo ship was damaged by Iranian fire, President Trump says, but adds all other vessels have suffered no damage traveling through the Strait of Hormuz. The president announced Project Freedom to reopen the narrow waterway controlled by Iran since the launch of Operation Epic Fury in February. The commander of CENTCOM, Admiral Brad Cooper, says the operation is defensive and employing warships, dozens of land and sea-based aircraft, unmanned drones, and 15,000 service members to protect forces and commercial shipping.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Cooper says several small Iranian boats have been downed by the U.S. for attacking ships. Iran denies that. The U.S. denies Iranian claims that a U.S. warship was hit. This as the UAE intercepts several Iranian missiles for the first time since a ceasefire began last month. An apology from a federal judge over the jail conditions for the man accused of trying to kill the president at a D.C. hotel.
Ahead of Monday's hearing about Cole Allen's detention, his attorneys asked to cancel, saying they understand he's no longer on suicide watch in jail. But the judge, Zia Farqui, said no, he wanted to hold the hearing anyway. An attorney for the Justice Department said Allen's statements had indicated to jail officials that he may be suicidal, so he was held accordingly. The judge said he owed Allen an apology, that they should be able to get him into a portion of the jail with windows. He went on to say the January 6th defendants weren't held in 5-point restraints and all were given access to windows in jail, that a closed, padded, safe cell for those on suicide watch is enough to make one suicidal.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Access to a common abortion pill through the mail is restored, at least for now, by the U.S. Supreme Court, reversing last week's ruling by a federal appeals court on mifepristone as the legal fight continues. America is listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. You can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
This will be the warmest day of the week. Partly sunny skies, but let's keep an eye out for a couple of showers, couple of thunderstorms. Windy. How about 81 degrees? Tonight, clouds, a few showers and thunderstorms scattered about. Still mild, 60. Tuesday, periods of showers and thunderstorms. It's much cooler on Tuesday, 65 degrees. Wednesday, partly sunny and chilly, 58. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get not just your AC, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the Preferred Partner Plan. And be ready for the first heat wave. AirComfortService.com.
That is
exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Oh, yeah, this is the moment you have been waiting for.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Annie's out. Ryan and Brad are in.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Manny Fry Show.
Can I tell you a little secret? As long as Annie's not listening, she won't know. But she could be. But I'm going to tell
It's
you
like
anyway.
pressing the blue button.
Yeah, keep this between me, you, and literally anybody else but Annie Fry. And as I'm saying this, she'll chime in if she's listening. Hopefully she's not. When David Koechner was on a couple weeks ago, he said the line in there. It's not in the Manny Fry Show open. That's a different open. But he said the line, "It is anchor man, not anchor lady." And apparently there's another part to that I forgot in the movie.
And that is a scientific...
And that's a scientific fact. And he said the whole thing on the air with us, without us asking. We just said, "Oh, hey, did you know that line's in our show open?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah," and he said it. So I took that line of him on the show, and I took my typical Friday open that I did the goofy version, and I replaced myself saying it with the actual David Koechner on the show saying it, which we're going to play for the first time on Friday. And if Annie's not listening, she'll hear it, and she'll go, "Oh, my gosh," because it's going to be a surprise. So she hasn't chimed in, which means she did not hear that. Don't tell her. All right, we've been talking about voting patterns, and last week, huge news with the Supreme Court. I get it, and we've said it, that if you're not really into politics and the balance of power, which I am, I think you guys all are if you're listening, if you're not really into that, the Supreme Court order about the Voting Rights Act in Louisiana is like not even on your mind the day it happened, let alone a week later now. But there's a lot of ramifications from it. Todd Blanche, Brad pulled this clip. It's not directly related to redistricting, but I'm going to play it anyway. He's talking about going after illegal voting.
Yes, we have been very aggressively going after anybody in this country who's in any way voting illegally. What you've already seen is a 24,000% increase over the last administration in prosecuting people who voted illegally. That's something that is a priority of President Trump. It's a priority. It should be a priority of every American, by the way, but it's certainly a priority of this Department of Justice, and we're going to continue to do it. And I expect that you'll see additional prosecutions in the coming months for anybody that voted illegally.
All right. Well, they're going after it. That's good. What they find, we don't know, but I did see over the weekend that they had more prosecutions on illegal voting, and I'm glad to see them doing that. Now, the balance of power is shifting separate from that, though. It is about this Voting Rights Act. Now, as I've read up on it, the Supreme Court did not directly address Article 2 of the Voting Rights Act. They did, however, gut it by ruling, is it in favor of or against Louisiana? I can't remember because the lawsuit's for both
ruling
sides.
in favor of
Louisiana. In favor of Louisiana? Okay.
Right.
So the way that played out was they can no longer, nobody can sue to make majority-minority districts. In other words, you can't use race, you can't use these kinds of demographics that are very popular on the left to sort of divide and conquer. You can't use those things to draw congressional districts. You shouldn't be able to do it at all. It's a racist way of doing it. And Democrats argue that, well, actually, it's racist to not do that because then you're diluting their vote. But I saw on the weekend, maybe I should have had you pull this clip, Brad. Bill Maher was debating somebody on this topic. And it made me so mad. It was the first time ever that I was like, I want to be on that show. Because I heard this argument and I thought the easiest answer is to say back to a Democrat who's saying, well, you dilute the black vote or a minority vote by not giving all minorities one district. You are assuming then that all of that minority has, is, and always will vote for one party. And that is simply not true by the numbers. In fact, you are stereotyping by doing that. You are being racist in a way you could say by doing that because black voters, you can chart it right now if you want to. starting in 2016, they started to vote more Republican. Not entirely, not that you're getting a plurality or a majority, but more. Then that happened more and more every election until 2024, when you had the highest black turnout for Donald Trump that we have seen in decades for a Republican. So this is a fluid thing. And to tell all of one race, this is how you vote, is simply inaccurate. It's racist to say that you will vote this way, therefore we want to do. Now, you can draw them right now, and this is the thing. Democrats were using it because it would make another Democrat district, because they could reliably assume that enough people of the black race were going to vote Democrat that we could consolidate that. But your argument on paper doesn't make sense to say that they will always do that, and that's a racist statement to make.
Yeah, I've been going over this. We had Will Chamberlain on Friday, and one of the things that he mentioned is the way that the SCOTUS ruled on this, the way Alito wrote his majority opinion on this. It actually gives a weapon to fight against racial gerrymandering. It says now the Voting Rights Act has been defined as to say that you cannot use race as a deciding factor, not that you have to favor one race in deciding that factor.
Exactly.
And like to your point, like one of the biggest districts that they're worried about is that district that is in Memphis, in Tennessee. They're like, that's going to dilute their vote. What's ironic about that is that the representative from that district in Memphis is Steve Cohen, a white guy. So the black voters voted for a white guy. And then you've got representatives like Wesley Hunt in Texas, who is a Republican, who is a black man, who white voters voted for a black man. People don't vote based on color. They vote based on policy.
And I'll take you back to that Bill Maher interview that I watched, because I saw it cut in a few different ways on Twitter. Some people stopped it right at the end of the question. Some people carried it through the answer to the question. And the person answering it didn't answer it the way that I would have. He actually said exactly what you said, is I believe that what we'll see is you will actually have more black representation in Congress, because you will have more black representation of Republicans in Republican districts because of this. And that has happened over the last few years. Remain to be seen if it will, but I could see that very much happening. And so it's not about skin color. It's all about ideology. And that's the way the parties have used it.
Right. And you shouldn't be voting for somebody based on their skin color. You should be voting on, are they the best person for that job? And I saw Wesley Bell. He was interviewed on the steps of Congress. Somebody asked him about that because he's moving out of Congress, and I think he's going to a statewide election or something like that. But he said, I'm not in this position because I'm a black Republican. He said, I'm in this position because the people of my... Wesley Hunt.
Okay,
sorry.
he said Wesley Bell.
I'm sorry. He said, I'm not in this position because... my skin color. I'm in this position because the voters of my district said I was the most qualified person to hold this position.
Yeah.
And he was livid that it was a suggestion that it was a matter of skin color.
Well, good for him. Good for him. Where does this play out? Well, I brought that up actually because there's a news story in light of the VRA, as they call it, the Louisiana Supreme Court order. Tennessee, which you just mentioned, Brad, and Alabama are right now, as of yesterday, taking steps to redraw their House maps in the wake of the Supreme Court ruling. So that not only will affect those two seats, but also, if I dug into the article here, Alabama, Tennessee, and Mississippi are now looking at it. Alabama and Tennessee have actually taken steps. They called special sessions already.
Mm-hmm.
That fast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very fast.
Florida did it in a day.
Florida was already going to do it, though. They've been on the runway waiting to take off for a long time.
Senate to the desk.
Yeah, and then legislators in Mississippi are planning to hold a special session to redraw the state's Supreme Court. It says state's Supreme Court districts. That doesn't make any sense unless that's something else that I don't know about. Some state officials have suggested also redrawing the state's U.S. House map. Maybe that is what it is, to unseat Democrat Representative Betty Thompson, though it might be too late for this year because Mississippi has already held its primary elections. Yeah, it seems like it might be. But that means that 3 states are looking at it, and every projection that I saw after that Supreme Court ruling said that the bulk of the numbers we were talking about, even last week here on this show, was probably not going to affect 2026 so much. Florida is going to get there. It sounds like Tennessee and Alabama might too.
But that's just one each.
I think that's just one each. So you're talking about a maximum of what I've seen, maybe 3 to 4 seats this year that would be affected by this. It's much more of a long-term play. So that, again, goes back to our original topic at the top of the show and the YouTube live chat poll. Who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Is it Harris? Is it Newsom? Is it Obama? Or is it someone else? Because as you look at the polling, it's very strange. Voters don't seem to like Democrats. They don't seem to really like anybody right now.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
If you want to ask them who they would prefer, the answer tends to be about 50-50 with a tiny, tiny lean toward Republicans if you look at the overall polling. But when you look at actually who's going to turn out to vote, that's what's going to matter.
Yeah.
It's not what's your preference. It's who's going to turn out in November. Well, the anti-Trump faction is going to turn out in November, which means can Republicans gerrymander, redistrict enough that they can overcome the turnout gap that they're going to have in November? And I say that very deliberately because I want you to understand that it's not a desire turnout right now.
Right.
Republicans, Democrats are really just about as split as they ever have been in the minds of Americans. It's who's going to show up and vote for them. That's the attempt to overcome through redistricting right now. And if I had to, as we close out this segment, if I had to guess, I'd say Republicans probably don't have enough in them to get over the hump for this midterm. So, which means I believe at this point they will probably lose the House. Do believe they'll keep the Senate, though, and I'm pretty sure they're going to keep the presidency. That's not in 2028. That's this year. I think that's a safe prediction. All right, you're listening to the Annie Fry Show. This is the Manny Fry Show. She is off today, and we are hoping that she is going to get better and come back tomorrow. She's just a little sick today, but we will see, and we will carry you through the rest of the show. Again, if you want to vote in the YouTube live chat poll, who is the leader of the Democrat Party? We will give the results before we get to 3 o'clock, and Mark Reardon takes over. This is the Annie Fry Show.
Did you know replacing old vinyl windows with more vinyl windows might not be the best choice? Hi, it's Kim, and I'm here to tell you about Infinity from Marvin Windows, because these fiberglass windows, they're energy efficient, they're beautiful, and they're custom built to fit your home perfectly. The team at Lakeside Renovation and Design just makes the process so easy. I love the fact that they even offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. Look, if you're tired of drafts, high energy bills, or maybe hard to open windows, now's the time to upgrade. Visit windowsbylakeside.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
Hold up. Check it out. Sports and local.
But mostly sports with Ethan Hannaford.
Take your time, Ethan. It's just a broadcast radio show.
Well, you know what? We ran out of paper.
Did you?
We ran out of paper.
The printer?
The printer ran out of paper, and that delayed me. And I didn't have time to get in here, and now I'm here, though.
Okay, good job, then.
The people are happy.
Appreciate it, everyone.
Did you hear the open? It
Nope.
said, but mostly sports.
Well,
prove us wrong. Prove us wrong.
Let me take a look at my upcoming stories
The
for the
freaking
day.
Cardinals are so fun to watch right now.
It's mostly
wasn't.
sports today.
Is it?
It's mostly
I was right
sports
then.
today. It's like you said, hard to not talk mostly sports right now when the Cardinals are playing as well as they are. I just watched a video a few minutes ago about some national baseball guys just talking about the Cardinals, and they're, what are they better than we thought they were? Is this, are they all of a sudden legit? And his big takeaway was just enjoy the ride. We have no idea what is happening. We don't know what the expectations are. We know what they were going into the year. Just enjoy it. The team's playing good baseball right now, and the guys that are performing really well are the cornerstone pieces that you were hoping at the beginning of the year were going to be able to turn out and make those advances in their career. J.J. Weatherholt, one of the top prospects in baseball, has had a very good start to the year. Jordan Walker had been a prospect that had almost been labeled as a bust, and that his career, some people said his career was over, were ready to move on from him. He's having a phenomenal year. Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson, Ivan Herrera. You're seeing the Cardinals come up with pieces right now. Not come up with. You're seeing them. You're seeing some of these young guys for them prove that they can be impact cornerstone pieces for the future, and that's exciting. That is fun. And they keep winning. They won more over the weekend. We talked last week about the 4-game series sweep against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They carried the success into the weekend against the back-to-back world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. They took 2 out of 3 against them. They won decisively on Friday night. Saturdays came down to the wire, but was a great game of baseball. And then Sunday they got beat a little bit. Maybe that was because Brad was there. Maybe
it's absolutely why.
My
bad, guys.
It's been good baseball. It's been entertaining baseball, and right now they're proven to be able to play against anyone. So they have the Milwaukee Brewers coming into town this upcoming week. 3-game series. It'll only be the second time that they'll be facing off against an in-division opponent this year, which is uncharacteristic for just how few times they've played the Central in the early going of 2026. But the test is going to continue. They're in the middle of a stretch right now where they'll play 17 straight games with no off days, and there's a lot of talented teams in there, and I think they're about halfway through that right now. So the test is going to continue, but you certainly like what you are seeing from them in the early going.
As somebody who can see the behind-the-scenes stuff a lot more with your media access, would you say it's a really good clubhouse, a lot of good atmosphere?
Yes.
They're slapping each other on the butts,
Well,
walking around.
Whipping one another with towels.
I haven't seen that
A lot of
necessarily.
winking.
No, no, we're going in a direction I didn't think this was going to go.
I'm just asking you.
No,
You're there.
I haven't seen winking. I haven't seen butt slapping. Although,
spraying drinks on each other.
I mean,
I'm all wet.
Dude, what is wrong with you? The Cardinals do have a tradition when a young player, a rookie, or someone new to the majors, I guess that would be a rookie, wouldn't it? When they have a career milestone, a first win or a first home run or something like that, they will put them inside of these laundry carts. They'll sit them down. They look like shopping carts almost.
Yeah.
They'll sit them down in the shower, and they will grab whatever they can find, baby powder, ketchup, mustard, mayo, and this is their congratulations, welcome to the majors moment, and they will just shower them with all of those different...
And they do this to them every game throughout their rookie season?
No. Just when they accomplish something big, Ryan. For example, if you get like a first career win or as a pitcher, or, they did it after J.J. Weatherholt had his walk-off base hit in the second game of the year. No, the clubhouse right now is in a very good space, a very good spot. Ollie Marmol has talked about it. Players have talked about it. Guys are pulling for each other. There's healthy competition. They are very much so bought in on the product that the coaching staff is trying to promote right now.
Are they going to bring in help? Like, is it too early to talk about getting some bullpen help? It just seems like they're not going too deep into games.
The bullpen is a problem. It would shock me. It would shock me if the Cardinals were to add eventually. We have to remember the purpose behind this season. Unless they all of a sudden are on a one.
You go, shoot. If it's going well, why not try to win now?
Well, you have to remember the long-term purpose, right? You have to remember the long-term goals. And they are building you. If you're excited about what they're doing in the majors, you should be even more excited about what they're doing in the farm system right now, because they have developed this farm system into a top 3 in baseball. And you like where you're at right now at the major league level. It's only going to get better. Don't give up on pieces in the minors right now just for success for a year where you weren't even expecting it in the first place. That's why I said enjoy the ride. See where it goes. If you can find something that's going to be super cheap and isn't going to cost you
that's what I'm saying.
anything
it's
impactful,
bullpen.
maybe. But bullpen's expensive. In today's day and age at the trade deadline, bullpen is expensive. So unless you can find something that makes sense, then I'm not recommending they add to it necessarily. In fact, I would argue there's a couple of bullpen pieces that are going to be probably pretty valuable at the trade deadline. And I'm still on the sell.
Away. Like, they're in the running, they would trade him away. You're not talking about
O'Brien, are you?
I'm talking about Riley O'Brien. Yes, 100%. Yes, I think so, because you have to remember that the purpose is long-term success. This is not a year where they were expected to be a postseason team. I still don't think that they are a postseason team. We saw them have a really good month last May as well, and then it fell apart after that. There's probably still going to be some serious bumps along the way in 2026.
Yeah.
We haven't really experienced that severely yet, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen eventually. So if we get to July eventually and all of a sudden they're still winning, maybe the conversation looks a little bit different, but I'm not there yet.
It's May 4th. It's way too early to be talking about adding pieces.
Speaking of it being May 4th, we talked about Star Wars a little bit during Wiggins America, but the Cardinals are hosting a flash sale in honor of May the 4th, National Star Wars Day. A one-day flash sale occurring today for their Star Wars theme night, which is coming up on Sunday, May 17th. They'll be facing off against the Kansas City Royals. That's the next homestand, I believe. Star Wars Day, giving fans the chance to receive an exclusive Star Wars-themed Cardinals T-shirt. So go ahead and take a look on the website for that. But, flash sale for Star Wars Theme Day. I'll continue moving since there's silence.
Yeah, please. I don't really
that's
want
what
that.
that means.
You don't want that?
I don't want the
What
shirt
if it was
that much.
Star Trek?
If it was Star Trek, I'd be
maybe.
interested in it.
Well, did you hear about the not-so-good thing that happened around the ballpark last night? I don't like...
Was it last night or Saturday?
It was last night. It was technically early Monday morning. Listen, we don't often in sports and local talk about the bad stories about, obviously there's a lot of crime. There's a lot of violent crime in St. Louis. There was a man that was stabbed to death overnight, last night, right outside of Busch Stadium. And, we've talked about, I don't want to get super deep into this outside, that they say that it would, police say it was a cleaning crew dispute. There is some information out on it. Super sad, obviously, anytime that, anyone falls victim to, violent, to criminal violence. But it's also, at the same time, attached with it is we constantly have the conversation, why are people going to the ballpark? And yes, there certainly is an aspect of the team has been worse the last couple of years, but crime seriously is a problem down there, and people don't always feel safe. There was several cars that were broken into at a parking
I thought
garage.
This was the story you were talking about.
Well, that was kind of the initial thing over the weekend, is that there were multiple cars that were broken into. I'm not sure which parking garage it was. It was one around the ballpark somewhere. And then on top of it, you add this, and it's like, man, we've got to clean this up, especially at a time where the team is starting to win. You don't want external factors to impact people's comfort level at going downtown and feeling like they can't feel safe, or that they're running the risk of their cars getting broken into. So that's got to get cleaned up. Hopefully,
it's like anything. You look statistically and you'd say it's actually fairly safe. Now, those stats might be worse than they used to be.
Sure.
And that's what you compare it to. You go, oh, is it more safe now than when I used to go to a game back with my dad in 1988?
Sure.
Well, no, it's less safe now. Statistically, that doesn't mean there's a high probability that you're going to get hurt or your car is going to get carjacked or broken into. And people will cite that, But that doesn't matter because it's all about, well, what does it mean for me? It's comparative. Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Because right now it seems to be getting worse. And not just for Cardinals game, but just in general, crime is getting worse.
Well, it's also go ahead.
I was going to say it's also perception. It's not just the statistics. It's do people feel safe? They can't just be safe. They have to feel safe.
And it's stories like this, it's attention like this where it happens. I mean, I walk by that area where that occurred all the time. I mean, anytime that I'm at the ballpark, I walk
me
by
too.
there. So,
I walk right by that spot and I break into 4 cars.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I can't say the same for myself, but I not the first time that I've said that when it comes to something that Ryan Wiggins has said. St. Louis City got shut out against Austin FC over the weekend, 2-0 the final, and they continue to struggle in MLS play. It has been an absolute disaster for City SC this year, unfortunately. There is an upcoming game, international friendly, that is going to be taking place at Energizer Park on Saturday, June 6th. In preparation for the 2026 World Cup, Bosnia and Herzegovina will be facing off against World Cup qualified Panama. I believe actually both of these teams have qualified for the World Cup. They're going to be facing off, like I said, Saturday, June 6th, which will be a cool event, a chance to give you a little bit of a teaser for the World Cup, and then also in 2028 when we're going to be having Olympic play here in St. Louis. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I believe that Energizer Park, St. Louis City's headquarters, will be the host city for one of the World Cup teams this summer. And I believe that Bosnia and Herzegovina wants to be in St. Louis.
That makes sense.
There's a large crowd here. Yep. So that would be kind of cool. Hopefully they'd be able to. Hopefully this will be well attended. But I mean, when it comes to facilities in the MLS, St. Louis City is second to none. It is, I mean, as high quality just about as it gets. So this will be an upcoming cool event coming to Energizer Park.
Just because you ended on that, I'm going to also tease that Guns N' Hoses Soccer Cup is coming to that very same place, the Worldwide Technology Soccer Park, on May 30th, and we are giving away tickets to see the Guns N' Hoses Soccer Cup in this hour, I would say within a couple minutes. So stick around for the time check when we will tell you when to call. That is coming up next here on the Annie Fry Show. And also coming up next, why I'm about to get ordained as a minister, and also an update on Infowars. That should be a fun segment, right? Stick around.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norm Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
It is not hard to destroy a college.
Last season, the podcast Campus Files brought you stories of fraternity drug rings, stolen body parts, campus cults, and more.
And now, Campus Files is back for another season.
There's a guy screaming into his phone. He's like, I just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated right in front of me.
Every week is a new episode and a new story.
It was so chaotic.
It's almost like a university under siege.
Listen to and follow Campus Files, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Don't
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Hey, the Guns N' Hoses Soccer Cup is coming to Worldwide Technology Soccer Park, which I am not conflating with Energizer Park, just to make clear. This one's in Fenton. We are giving away a pair of tickets to see Guns N' Hoses Soccer, including all the different first responders performing against each other, which is always fun. That's like a Guns N' Hoses staple right there. This is soccer, though. And if you want to go see this event, call now and be the 9th caller at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Be the 9th caller. You will get a pair of tickets to the Guns N' Hoses Soccer Cup. And then, what do I got to do here? Time check. 2:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From Fenton to Fairview, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, Brad, I don't think I've told this to you guys yet, but I am going to have to get ordained.
That is something you haven't told. You have to get ordained? Is
yeah.
God calling you to be ordained?
No.
Well, that's the only time you have to get ordained.
No, I do have to because my brother is calling me to. And I have to do it for him. He's getting married this summer, and they wanted me to be the officiating, whatever. Efficient? Okay.
Efficient.
To do the wedding. I haven't written anything yet. This is coming in July, but I'm a little confused as to how to do this because I've read that you can do it pretty easily online. It's not that hard. It feels a little cheap to me to be able to do that easily, but okay, I'll do it. But they're getting married in Missouri, out near Troy, Missouri. But they live, and so do I live, in Illinois.
Where's the marriage license?
That's my question. I don't know the answer. So do I get ordained in Missouri because that's where they're getting married?
When you get ordained, you get ordained.
Yeah.
It's not an Illinois ordination or a Missouri ordination.
It's a national?
Yeah. It'll be through a denomination that ordains you.
Okay. So it's going to be anything.
Right. I'm ordained, and I'm ordained through the Free Will Baptist.
Okay.
So there was a whole process for that. It wasn't just a cheap online thing to do.
So I could get ordained in like Wicca.
Yeah, something.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm not going to. I'm just saying you could get ordained in literally anything.
Right. It just has to be, I think it just has to be a recognized religion.
Okay.
And that's good across the country. It might differ in certain states, but for the most part,
See, our research has showed that you do have to say what county you're in. And so I thought this was going to be a big problem because we had to determine, well, it's in this county in Missouri, but we live in this county.
So the weddings that I performed, the only thing that I've had to do is sign as the minister. But Illinois is very relaxed on that.
Oh, okay.
But they were both St. Clair County weddings.
and this is Madison. So I didn't know if it was going to be a problem.
Actually, the one took place, the couple was from St. Clair County, but it took place in southern Illinois. So
completely separate. How much do you pay attention to Infowars when you're collecting information for the show?
Infowars pops up on feeds. It is fed to me. I don't seek it out.
I do too, and that's the problem. Is that people will ask, "What's your opinion about Alex Jones and all this?" I just don't have.
I only
one.
see the crazy stuff.
I see the really funny gay
Yes.
frogs and stuff, but I don't know much about him. And I guess there's a element of plausible deniability for me there, working in this industry. So because I know that there are people who are big fans, and I know that there are people who just loathe him, and I'm like, why would I get involved in it? I have no skin in the game.
Do you know what my first introduction to Alex Jones was in? Like the first time I saw him, I used to love the History Channel, and I would watch these different specials and documentaries they did. Well, they did one where they were talking about secret societies, and the Bilderbergs were one of the secret societies, and the person that they had explaining to them was Alex Jones.
They had him explaining what?
The Bilderberg Society, which I think is in California, and it's like this.
Okay, but to who?
To the History Channel for this particular program.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like Alex Jones. And so when I saw Infowars pop up, and the next time I saw him, I was like, oh, hey, that's that guy from the History Channel. Which is wild. But that's who they got to talk about what the Bilderbergs were and all this other stuff. It's like internet conspiracy theorist is how they described him.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I will say that I don't like the lawsuit that bankrupted him. I know just enough about that to say I think this was a free speech issue. I don't like what he said.
Yeah.
But that's the point of free speech, is that you can't just defend the things that you like. Otherwise, it's not free speech.
Right.
And so he said stuff about Sandy Hook that was false, and he got sued. Well, that to me, that's a media free speech issue. You can be wrong and be crazy and whatever. And he's not even on broadcast. Like, he's just online. So I didn't like that lawsuit. I know that there are people that could debate it back and forth. I tend to fall on the side of saying, I think this was a free speech issue. That's 1A, baby. You can't really mess with that. But regardless, that's not even really why I'm bringing this up. Because of that lawsuit, he's gone through, I think this has been like 2.5 years now, where he's been fighting in court to keep Infowars. Mm-hmm. But he owed the families of Sandy Hook, and I don't even know if it was all of them or just some in particular who brought the lawsuit or what. He owed over $1 billion to them for defamation. And he obviously does not have $1 billion in cash. So he was forced to sell all of his assets, including Infowars. Now, if you're a fan of Alex Jones, you probably figured out by now, I think that dude's going to be fine. He's just going to scrap Infowars and start alexjones.com or something, whatever.
Infowars.
Yeah, whatever it is. So he's not going away. But he has had to sell off all those assets. And you know who is the main buyer? The Onion, which is a satire website. Now, they are like the left-leaning version of the Babylon Bee.
Left-leaning is being polite.
Yeah, they are the leftist satire site. The Babylon Bee came out along afterwards. I'm not saying they were the original, but they are the right-leaning satire site that's very similar. They do the similar things. So The Onion was actually in kind of some peril for a while itself. I don't know that they were a newspaper, and I don't think that they had an easy transition from being a newspaper to the digital age, but they've made it. They've gone through it. And they, ever since this lawsuit, have been trying to buy Infowars. Well, they did.
Yes.
And they took it over, I think, this weekend, finally. Now, there's still some pending litigation that could return it back to Alex Jones, and it's all playing out very, very slowly. But enter Tim Heidecker. Now, if you don't know that name, that's okay. He's a pretty well-known comedian in certain circles, like on Adult Swim. If you ever watch Adult Swim, he had a show called Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
And so just super bizarre stuff, and it was real hit and miss. Sometimes it was super funny, but he's a far, far leftist.
Yeah.
He's also super funny, though. And so he crosses into my territory when I'm like, I just like comedy, and I like a lot of what he does. He is now in charge of Infowars. For whatever reason, The Onion has said Tim Heidecker, comedian, is now in charge of Infowars. And they lauded this big plan they had to make it satire and do all this funny stuff. And so I'm like, okay, just for comedic purposes, you've caught my interest. I want to see what you're going to do as comedians who now own a right-wing media outlet. I don't love the way that it happened, but I'm interested to see.
Yeah.
And so this is the first thing that Infowars broadcast with Tim Heidecker taking over the microphone.
Hi, everybody. It's Tim Heidecker here. I'm broadcasting now live on the internet. Thank you for joining me. We have major announcements to go through here. Lots going on.
Now, if you know Tim Heidecker, you know that does not sound like him. He is doing, I would consider, a spot-on impersonation.
So that is an impersonation.
Yeah, he says at the beginning there, this is Tim Heidecker. He's doing an impersonation of Alex Jones.
Lot of turmoil the past couple days. On our road to total victory, we have just won a major battle, folks. Okay, Alex and his gang of liars and scoundrels have been cast out into the street. They have lost Infowars, Infowars.com, and their various platforms now. They have been cast out, ladies and gentlemen. And make no mistake, we will be the new Infowars. Now, we got to go through the machinations of the court, and we've had some setbacks over the past couple of days, but that is not stopping us. It is not tempering our resolve.
So if you've ever seen this guy and you watch him doing this, you're like, dang, because he sounds exactly like him. But obviously when you watch him, you're like, oh, it doesn't look like him at all. But I was a little bit disappointed because I'm like, okay, I've heard your impersonation already. He's been doing the impersonation throughout this process, talking about, we're going to take over and we're going to do this and that. And so I'm like, okay, I've heard your impersonation. So what's the big joke that you were going to launch on Infowars? Well, it was just that. That was it. And I thought, oh, that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
You built this up. You spent a lot of money to buy Infowars, and that was it?
Well, man. Yeah, there's a couple problems that they have, I think, with this. How do you caricature a caricature? Like,
well, that's a pretty good job right there.
Infowars is such a wild program that it's hard to spoof something so crazy.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is, too, like, it just kind of feels like they're dancing on the grave.
It does a little bit, yeah. But so let's say they're just going to do a spoof show and just do Alex Jones every day. That's not going to
be great.
It's a joke that sounds funny in theory that nobody's going to keep watching.
It'll be funny for what, maybe a month?
If that, they said the live stream featured a lot of Heidecker as Alex Jones with references to conspiracy theories as well as somewhere in there. So I think this thing went on for a while. A call from, quote, President Donald Trump, who is obviously an impersonator also, who congratulated on him being in charge of Infowars. The Onion, who's been trying to get its hands on Infowars for years, had its bid to buy the site blocked in 2024, but its parent company, Global Tetrahedron, ended up reaching a potential 6-month deal to lease the website from a court-appointed administrator for $81,000 per month, with the option for it to be renewed. Global Tetrahedron's Ben Collins has been open about the Onion's plan to buy the entirety of the website's assets. I don't really know what the gain is for the Onion here. They're obviously paying a lot per month, at least in my world. $81,000 per month may not be a lot for them. But that's, to me, that's the best they could do, is lease it for a few months, do your joke, and then move on. What else is the Onion going to gain from owning Infowars? I just don't get it. Although I do think that impersonation is very impressive. All right, one more segment here. We're going to give you the results of the poll in the next segment. Who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Is it, if you haven't voted yet, especially want to know, is it Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Barack Obama, or someone else? We'll give you the results of that poll next.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the Guns N' Hoses First Responders Soccer Cup, May 30th at Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. Law enforcement battles firefighters and EMTs on the field, all for a great cause. 971talk.com/events.
The summer heat and humidity will be here soon.
Is your air conditioner ready? This is Corey with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If your cooling system hasn't been checked to be ready for the warm weather, call Air Comfort Service. AC checks keep your equipment operating at maximum efficiency, prevent repairs, and extend the life of your equipment. For every AC clean and check booked in April, we'll donate a bag of pet food to Open Door Animal Sanctuary in House Springs. Stay in your comfort zone with a cooling system check from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Stan Musial, he missed a season in his prime to serve his country in the Navy.
Honor a legend on Saturday, May 16th when the Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Fans can secure a Stan Musial military bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbirds. This patriotic collectible celebrates Stan's Hall of Fame career and his service to our country. A true symbol of character on and off the field. A tribute worth displaying and remembering. Don't miss it. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Some Sundays are made for the water. Sunday, May 17th, as the Cardinals take on the Kansas City Royals, make it a ballpark day too. That day, you can score a Cardinals boat tote presented by Coca-Cola and Walmart. A classic summer bag that fits right in from the dock to the dugout. It's ready for long weekends, sunny afternoons, and whatever plans you have next. Get tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Mark Cox here. Bring your home back to life with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean right now, starting at just $139, and whole home air duct cleaning starting at just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them 97.1 sent you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I don't remember us playing a lot of Zeppelin on the Annie Fry Show. Must be special for me. Thank you, Ethan.
Get the lead out.
I have a little tip before I get to the results of the poll here. Over the weekend, I realized that I was doing something to watch really good movies that I didn't realize was a thing. If you go to Tubi, have you ever heard of Tubi?
Heard of Tubi, yeah.
So not everybody has Tubi, but as far as I know, Tubi was bought by Fox News in 2020. And I have no affiliation with them. They're not like paying me to say this or anything. But I actually really like Tubi because before 2020, now before Fox News owned it, we tried to get our show Songstage onto Tubi. And they had said yes. But they weren't really going to pay us anything. And that's the way they do with a lot of movies is they'll say, yes, we'll accept your submission, but it's just for exposure. And at some point, you got to go, well, that's okay. That's fine. And so we kind of took them up on that offer, but we realized they also weren't going to format anything for us. And we had 16 episodes. And so to do one episode of a show was X amount of dollars for them to format it for us, or we had to format it. And we decided this is actually going to cost us money to get it onto this platform. We're not going to make any money. So we decided, let's just hold off. And then COVID hit, and then I think, couldn't get it on after Fox News because they changed the protocol how they do it. And they have a lot of original Tubi movies on there now, a lot of horror movies.
TUBI, right?
TUBI. But one of the things I discovered about that streamer is, they have a ton of content. They just have, I think they may have more content than anybody else in the world as far as stuff you could actually watch. They have a lot of low-level stuff too, don't get me wrong. But they have this whole section called Rotten Tomatoes Favorites.
Okay.
And if you can't get, and it's always tailored, so sometimes I can't get that section to come up. So I'll just flip through movies until I see the little tomato come up in the corner. And if it's got the tomato on it, that means that audiences have said it's really good, or at least a combination of audience and critics usually. But I'll watch a movie that I have no interest in. If I had read the description, I'd be like, this sounds like every other movie. And I watched one last night called Hive, and the night before that I watched one called Me, Myself, and the Void. And they're just bizarre movies. One of them was about a comedian who had almost died, but he was kind of between life and death, and he was trying to figure out who had killed him or almost killed him. So he's going through this process, and it's like a lot of him kind of exploring his head of, what did my girlfriend say, and what did my text say, and all this. And you'd think it just sounds boring, but it was really good.
Yeah.
And then The Hive is a horror movie about a playground that shows up and eats people. and
sounds like a so bad it's good type of movie.
you'd think, but then you watch it and you go, dang, it's pretty freaking good. And so my recommendation is, if you get on there, find the stuff that has Rotten Tomatoes approval on it, has the fresh tomato in the corner of it. And if you watch it, even if you're not paying close attention, they're usually pretty good movies because enough people have seen them and said, yeah, that's actually good. Surprise, surprise. It's 1 out of every 30 movies that gets submitted, but they're good.
Yeah.
And it's like a screen for you to kind of run everything through to not waste your time on all the really bad stuff, because there's a lot of bad stuff too. Today's YouTube live chat poll is, who is the leader of the Democrat Party? The options we gave you are Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Barack Obama, or someone else. Brad?
Well, whenever I looked at this, I already said that I didn't think that Harris or Newsom were in any way leading anything. I voted Obama. I think Barack Obama is the leader, which is bad for the Democratic Party because he's kind of waning in his influence as well. You almost don't want his.
I'm not sure he's got captured the next generation.
He doesn't. He hasn't. I mean, there's a lot of things that people in the next generation don't like about what his presidency was, and that's on the left. That's not on the right. But I think he is the one that is still kind of steering the platform of the party. I think whenever they need to figure out what they're trying to do, he is the one that they go to.
I'm going to read some comments here. We going to 56 or 7?
56.
Okay, so this one from Scooter says, Obama is probably the right answer here since he's been president and neither Harris nor Newsom have. Let me defend putting Harris and Newsom on there. Those two are leading the polls for president on the Democrat side for 2028. That's why I put them there. Not because they're thought leaders. Newsom might be, but Harris isn't. But they're the leaders of the polling. So I thought, well, I at least got to give them a shot there. A couple different people, including Trish, said George Soros leads the Dems. And then this person said other. SDL Pepper says, I voted other, meaning the field. Somebody else that's not listed here is in charge. And then a really interesting one, AOC and Mamdani are the leaders of the Democrat Party. I could see that. I could very much see that. That should have been one of the options, actually. But me, myself, I voted for Obama simply because I think he is still the one behind the scenes that's really able to kind of shift the money and pull the money around and influence which candidates are going to run and which ones are not. I'm not saying he's the end-all, be-all, but I would say that if there is a leader, it's him.
Yeah, so the results of the poll are Obama with 49%, someone else with 45%, and then coming up in the back, Harris and Newsom are tied with 3.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
Baseball season is here, and it seems like you can't watch your favorite team without a spreadsheet of streaming.